Yeah. Welcome to the main event. Main event. Main event. Main event. Let's get ready to rumble. Nothing can make me crumble. Take a step into the jungle. It's war where the lions roar. The moment you've been waiting for. It's time to leave the locker room. I'm breaking through the door. Power. Cameras flashing. You see me pass. Overlap a different category. I stand alone on my platform in all my glory. Until the next challenger wanna provoke me. Yeah, I know they all want my trophy. Welcome to the main event. Let the lights go down, and when the smoke clears, I'ma show you how. I can tell we gonna meet again. You leaving with a frown, me I'm leaving with the crown. How you like me now? Welcome to the main event.
In London, Ontario, inside Western Alumni Stadium, it's the 57th edition of the Vanier Cup, a Canadian university tradition, and it's a showdown between two teams with dynamic quarterbacks. Laval Rouge are back in the final for the first time since 2018 when they were last crowned champions. The Saskatchewan Huskies make it back-to-back appearances, but their last title came in 1998. Will it be a resurgence for Laval or redemption for Saskatchewan? It's the 2022 Canada Life Vanier Cup, and it's right here on CBC Sports. Hello, everyone. Come on inside. We're getting you set for the Vanier Cup. Andy Petrollo alongside two gentlemen who know what it's like to feel that Canadian pride when they take to the field wearing their school colors. That would be former running back with the Western Mustangs, Donovan Bennett, and former quarterback with the Guelph Griffins, Justin Dunk. We're all expecting a high-scoring game. We'll tell you why in just a moment. But how did these two teams get here? Well, let's begin with the UTech Bowl, and we take you to Nova Scotia. At St. FX Stadium, that was the site. Saskatchewan St. FX tied at 6 when Riker Frank, Huskies running back, gets it into the end zone. On to the fourth quarter. Talk about reading the play. The Huskies DB sees TD the whole way. A pick six for John Stoll. 3 minutes to go, and the X-Men have to do something here, and they do. Silas Fanyan finds Ben Harrington well behind the coverage for the touchdown, but the Huskies would get it back. Everything goes right for QB Mason Nias and receiver Daniel Perry on this reception. Saskatchewan are headed back to the Vanier Cup for the second straight year after a 36-19 win. Laval was in London, Ontario, facing Western in the Mitchell Bowl. Late first quarter, Laval down but driving. Not for long. Bad snap. QB Arnaud Desjardins tries to corral it. Lorenz Kane-Bauer scoops it up, charges in. 17-0 Stangs. The Mustangs took a 17-4 lead into the half. Third quarter, Laval center back Etienne Ameo breaks a nice run to set up David Dallaire for the score. Then it's Dallaire again off the direct snap. Laval will take an 18-17 lead into the fourth quarter. Now 24-20, the Rouge put it away with a Vincent Blanchard field goal. Laval spoils the Stangs party with a comeback win. 27-20, your final. This is the third time Laval, Saskatchewan will meet in the Vanier Cup, with the Rouge winning both previous occasions in 04 and 06. Now, both of those games were tight defensively. In 04, the scoreline was 7-1. It stands as the lowest scoring game in Vanier Cup history. In 06, it was 13-8. But if the regular season is any indication of what we can expect here today, we want points, points, points. And we all know that it starts with the quarterback. So, Justin, I'm throwing it to you. Let's talk Huskies quarterback. He was named Canada West Player of the Year, and that would be Mason Nias.
That's Mr. Nias to his students at Bishop James Mahoney, where he's finishing his education degree at Saskatchewan, and he studies, just like his students do in the classroom, as a football star for the Huskies. And that's why he's able to dissect defense. Is a staple of this Huskies offense. The crossing pattern, he puts it in front to Daniel Weed there, allows his receivers to run after the catch and sometimes get to the end zone. But also, when he spots that one-on-one coverage, he is deadly accurate. Deep ball touchdown to Daniel Perry at a critical point in the fourth quarter there. Nias has some things to prove after being overlooked for that Crichton Trophy and was a second-team All-Canadian, didn't get that first-team nod, so he wants to show the country how good he is.
In the final last year, also threw for over 300 in a losing cause. You know he wants a little redemption here in this Vanier Cup. But can he be stopped? How about we cue Laval linebacker Alec Poirier?
Well, the key for him is maybe not to worry as much about all of that film study and In a big game, you say to a linebacker, trust your eyes. Well, in this game, you say the opposite. Like Love is Blind. Don't worry about your eyes, trust your heart. Because Mason does such a great job of throwing the football away from where you think it might go, looking people off. And Coach Flory does such a great job with full flow of the offensive line one way and running the opposite. So you got to understand down and distance and make a play that way. He likes Cruel Intentions as his favorite movie. He shows up to the ball with bad intentions, but disguise those intentions early in the football game.
This year, he was also named to the All-Star defensive team. Watch out for him. Well, how about this guy? He's a three-time Grey Cup champ, all with the Montreal Alouettes. He's also a member of the Canadian Football Hall of Fame, and in 2017, he became the head coach of the Huskies. Here's Rob Pizzo with Scott Flory.
Thank you very much, Andy. Coach, you're all the way back. Almost a year to the day since that loss last year to Western, and what has struck me over the last couple days, you're so calm. We were in the hotel the other day, and you kept saying, football's fun, we're going to have some fun. How important was it, not only for you to remain that calm, but for that to kind of rub off on your players, too?
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is the greatest game that ever was, that ever will be, man. It's just, everything about it, we just love it. And yeah, I think that, you know, going through that experience 365 days later, all that kind of stuff, we're here. This is a different team. We're a different group. And we're just excited to play. We get another opportunity to play the game we love, and that I think that the opportunity is there, and our guys are ready for it.
Talk to me a little bit about Saskatchewan football, because you're obviously very familiar with it, and it seems to be on an upward trajectory for years now. How big would a win today be just for the province of Saskatchewan as far as football goes? Because it just seems like for a province with only 1.2 million people, football is just in their blood.
Yeah, I look at it and I say this all the time, I don't think they get enough credit, is all the grassroots organizations. I mean, the 6-man, 9-man, 12-man programs, every corner of the province. We got guys from Shaunavon, Assiniboia, Melfort, you know, we got them from all over, from Rosetown, from Melville, from Yorkdale. We got cover every part of the province and how integral the ecosystem of football is and the level of importance. And it's obviously led by the Saskatchewan Roughriders within our province. And yeah, it's a big deal. It's important to us.
And it's important today. Good luck today. Thanks for doing this.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
Andy, back to you.
Rob, these are two excellent programs that began playing U Sports football decades apart. Huskies football dates back to 1964, while the Rouge started 32 years later in 96. Now, this is Laval's 13th appearance in the Vanier Cup. Saskatchewan makes their 11th appearance. Let's talk about the other guy who's going to be throwing the ball. That would be Laval's quarterback, Arnaud Desjardins, who says he gets his calmness from his dad. Maybe that's why he stays so calm in the pocket.
It could be, and this is Canadian University football's version of Tom Brady. He wears number 12 and is 6'4", just like Brady is, and he's deadly accurate like Brady as well. And you're going to see that on the field today, he's able to distribute the football in a bunch of ways. Has a strong arm to get it down the field and can also stand in the pocket like Brady can, take a shot and throw it down the football field. And you can also look at him sometimes and not know whether he's throwing a touchdown or an interception, and I think that comes from his dad, as you mentioned, Andy.
Yeah, well, linebackers must be licking their chops here to get to him because you're speaking so highly of him. So when we take a look at the Huskies who might be tasked with doing this, are we looking at Nick Wiebe and Seth Hundeby?
We certainly are. They're so nice. We're going to show you them twice because they're difficult to defend against because Saskatchewan plays a 3-4 defense, which means, as you know, Justin, as a quarterback, who is the Mike? Who's the middle linebacker? They both can do those roles. Top Gun is my favorite movie. They're co-pilots. This is Goose and Maverick. They got to be connected today like Bluetooth, more so almost like midfielders for our World Cup fans. When one goes, the other covers for each other. That's what they got to do to keep a clean sheet.
All right, well, we'll see if they are up for the task here today. Now, we know that the U Sports hold their award ceremony before the Vanier Cup, as is per tradition, and the Heck Crichton Trophy for most outstanding player in university football went to Laval's Kevin Mittal. He's the receiver for that team. What makes him so special? What made his year so special?
Well, what makes him so special is, unlike most receivers at this level, he doesn't need separation early. He can get it late because of his size and athleticism, and he doesn't need two hands. He can bring it down with just one.
And he creates that separation in the red zone. 12 touchdowns during the regular season, 3 in the Dunsmore Cup. This guy is the definition of money.
All right, well, his team obviously is going to be looking to extend an impressive record already. Now, their coach, he's the most decorated coach in Vanier Cup history. He's won a total of 10 titles, 9 as a head coach. Can Glenn Constantine extend that already impressive resume? Here he is with Signa Butler.
Thanks, Andy. Glenn, you had a couple nail-biting games in the Dunsmore Cup, the Mitchell Bowl. How much did that prepare you for today's Vanier Cup?
Well, I think, we have a young team, so like a pressure adversity is good for us. But I told those kids today, it's just another football game. Don't make it bigger than it should be. It's just don't do 110%. Just do your best and have fun doing it today.
You've coached experienced teams and young team. This is on the younger side, as you say. Does that change your preparation?
Actually, sometimes a little bit with just making sure that they stay calm and don't get nervous and don't do too much.
Two explosive offensive teams. Are we going to see some fireworks today?
I think so, unfortunately. I mean, we like to keep it tight. I'm a defensive guy, so I like to keep things down. But I think it's going to be there are two great quarterbacks with great offenses.
Best of luck today.
Thank you.
Back to you, Andy.
We love hearing about great offense because we love seeing touchdowns. We want to see points. Let's get to the two gentlemen now who will be calling today's Vanier Cup. That would be Mark Lee alongside Deshaun Stevens. He's the former receiver, University of Waterloo, and Junior Argos.
Andy, these are two powerhouse football programs who put up the biggest passing numbers in the country this year. But a week ago in the bowl games, they were disorganized and had to clean up messy, mistake-prone first halves just to survive and get to the Vanier Cup. Let's start with the UTEC Bowl and Saskatchewan. 5 first-half fumbles.
Yeah, 5 fumbles. Extremely uncharacteristic of a team coached by Scott Flory. And the Huskies actually pushed the panic button in the fourth quarter when they were tied with St. FX. But through a fantastic passing game with Mason Nias and Daniel Weeb, the Huskies were able to score 23 points in the fourth quarter and punch their ticket back to their second consecutive Vanier Cup.
Nias had a couple of the fumbles, then Ted Kabongo right here when they're about to score their first touchdown coughs up the football into the St. FX end zone to lose control. Then in the Mitchell Bowl, Laval, of all teams, were self-destructing in the first half against Western. 2 of their turnovers led to 14 Western points.
Yeah, again, it sounds like the exact same story. 5 fumbles, extremely uncharacteristic of a team coached by Glenn Constantine. But when the Rouge entered the locker room at halftime down 17-4, Glenn Constantine said they did not feel defeated. They tightened up on the defensive end. They were able to find success through the run game with Muganda and scored 23 points in the second half to punch their ticket back to the Vanier Cup for the first time since 2018.
Yeah, amid all the chaos, they settled their nerves at halftime and found a way to win. Both teams on the road. Vanier Cup. Andy?
Thank you, gentlemen. All right, Canada, we are moments away from kickoff. It's time to crown a new Canadian champion. The Canada Life Vanier Cup takes center stage in London, Ontario. It's Laval versus Saskatchewan, and it's right here on CBC Sports.
I take care of my skin. Not this skin. That skin. And when you've got incontinence, you sure need to.
Tena Intimates pads lock liquid in and are now 100% breathable for day or night. Kind to skin. Protects like Tena.
Pampers Swaddlers feature lock-away channels. They stay 2 times drier, so babies can sleep soundly all night. Pampers.
But I don't know what love is.
Of course you know what love is. You've been worshipping Wayne Rooney for 2 decades.
It's like the parties I dreamed about as a child, but never had because I was friendless.
Oh, you know Ben and Jerry, don't you? Hi. I know. Real names. What are the chances?
When 2 people can work off each other, there's nothing more brilliant to watch.
1, 2, 3. Laval winning the coin toss.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Canada Life Vanier Cup on CBC. The Laval Rouge meet the Saskatchewan Huskies at Western Alumni Stadium for the first time in its history. The Vanier Cup will be played in London, Ontario, where it's a balmy 10 degrees Celsius in brilliant sunshine. The winds are gusting out of the south at 22 kilometers per hour, upwards to 30, so from left to right on your TV screen today. But ideal conditions to settle this Vanier Cup. The 2 most prolific quarterbacks in Canadian college football this season will square off on this gorgeous day for a championship. Laval's Arnaud Desjardins led the country with 20 touchdown passes, and Saskatchewan's Mason Nias was number 1 with 350 yards passing per game. No other quarterbacks are in their area code this year. Canadian Forces Chinook helicopter with the traditional football flyby here at Alumni Stadium to get us underway in this 2022 Vanier Cup. Laval won the coin toss. They decided to defer. Saskatchewan took the ball and the wind in the first quarter. Vincent Blanchard to kick off for Laval, as these two outstanding football teams having to win, both of them on the road, to get to this Vanier Cup. And we're underway. No, we're not. So that wind is already a factor as it blows the ball off the tee, and they'll have to reset. A week ago in the cold conditions, the wind was a real factor, Deshaun. It was icy cold at -10 with the wind chill. And so Scott Flory and Saskatchewan deciding on this gusty day to take the wind in this opening quarter and take the ball. So they'll have to tee that up for Blanchard as they kick off into the wind. Now we're underway. Ball held up in the wind, and Rhett Vavra falls on it quickly, so no return on the play for Saskatchewan as they take over 1st and 10 in their own end in their first possession of this football game. Nias, the Heck Crichton nominee for Saskatchewan and Player of the Year in the Canada West Conference, and here's the offense he'll direct. Riker Frank in the backfield. 3 receivers to the wide side for Saskatchewan. Nias passing on 1st down. Dumps it across the middle to Riker Frank. Frank is tripped up about 3 yards shy of the 1st down, so a gain of 7. As this vaunted passing team, Nias was a full 100 yards better than any other quarterback in terms of passing per game in the Canada West Conference last year.
Yeah, Mason Nias in his 5th year had a spectacular campaign leading the Saskatchewan Huskies to the #1 passing attack in the nation, as well as being a 1st team or 2nd team All-Canadian.
Alec Poirier, that tough, stout middle linebacker leading this Laval defense that allowed 14 points a game in the RSEQ this year. 2nd and 3, Nias downfield. Daniel Perry, the lone 1st team All-Canadian for Saskatchewan, has their 1st down.
Yeah, Daniel Perry was their #1 receiver this year. He's a Canada West All-Star. Their lone 1st team All-Canadian, as you said. As you can see, Mason Nias goes through his reads, hits Perry across the middle. Great way to settle down this offense and get them in a groove in the Vanier Cup.
Nias is a quarterback that Glenn Constantine says is not easily fooled, and he can expect to see all kinds of different looks on this Laval defense. A 40 front, 1st down at the 50-yard line of the Huskies. Again, passing. It's away to Weeb, and Weeb will have 5 on that short catch. So 2nd and 5 for the Huskies. And this Huskies offense really balanced when it comes to passing. The likes of Perry, Weeb, and Vavra.
And it's great to see Weeb get involved after the great game that he had in the UTEC Bowl, leading the Huskies in receiving yards with 117 and 1 touchdown in the 4th quarter to really push them to this Vanier Cup appearance.
Weeb had 6 catches for 117 yards and a touchdown last week in the UTEC Bowl. 2nd and 5, Huskies. It's a flat pass to Frank in the backfield. He'll be swarmed on the play and driven out of touch for little or no gain. So it'll be 3rd and 5 in a punt situation. Hugo Leroux, the boundary cornerback, first to make contact, and then some support as he's run out of bounds. That's Jean-William Rouleau, the defensive tackle who we've seen time and time again all over the football field helping to make plays. So David Soleil, the average of 39 yards this year with the win, taken at the 14-yard line. And a short return on the play, but there is a flag on the play. Alex Duff was the returner for Glenn Constantine and the Rouge et Or. But there is a flag. Duff is the lead back normally in this running backfield for Laval, but last week he played a supporting role.
No yards, number 15-yard penalty, first down.
Referee Al Gates from Hampton, New Brunswick, in his second appearance in the Vanier Cup. The no yards call will give a few more yards. First down for Laval when we come back. Welcome back to the 2022 Vanier Cup in London, Ontario, as Arnaud Desjardins gets set to go to work for the first time into the wind and into the sunshine here at Western's Alumni Stadium. What a season he had. The most prolific quarterback when it came to touchdown passes with a total of 20 to lead the nation. He's a 4.0 GPA law student with the poise of a courtroom lawyer. First down, play action. Downfield looking for Dallaire, and it's incomplete. It was very close as they go to the Swiss Army knife. David Dallaire, the fullback who does it all. Wildcat, holds point afters, runs and makes big plays. Here's the starting offense for Laval with Kevin Mattel, the Heck Brighton winner. New Laval record with 12 receiving touchdowns in the regular season, 3 more in the Dunsmore Cup. He's a man that loves the spotlight. 2nd and 10. Desjardins against a 4-man rush. It's incomplete and nearly intercepted, in and out of the hands of Tanner Reiber, the safety. That ball was intended for Mattel. Charlie Ringland is the ringleader on this Saskatchewan defense, which has been very sound against the pass this season, with the likes of Ringland playing at the boundary half. So a punt situation, 2 and out for the Rouge et Or. And that could have been an interception right off the bat. This is the Laval team that Glenn Constantine said last week against Western in the Mitchell Bowl was nervous. And that led to all of those miscues and high snaps and turnovers that had them down 17-0 early. Blanchard to Vavra, deep at his 36-yard line, breaks a tackle, gets upfield. Fastest receiver on the team, brings it across the 47-yard line. There is a flag down. Vavra leading this team with 603 yards and 5 touchdowns, 3rd best in the Canada West Conference. Perry, his running mate, the other slot back, 602 yards, just a yard difference.
Saskatchewan, 10-yard penalty. It is first down.
So a holding penalty from Al Gates against Saskatchewan. That'll move the ball back 10 yards for Mason Nias and the Huskies. They're at their 26, backed up after that penalty. Frank in the backfield. Play action, no, they'll hand it off to Riker Frank, and he gashes the defense. Riker Frank up the sideline, still going, and finally caught and pushed out of bounds at the 34-yard line of Laval.
And that is the 3rd time Riker Frank has touched the ball today. You can see Scott Flory is trying to get Riker Frank comfortable and help establish that run along with his high-powered passing attack. You can see he finds the hole up the sideline, and he's gone. And that is a pretty good way to start off against a defense that only allowed 87.4 yards all season long.
44-yard run for Riker Frank before Felix Petit, the safety, catches him and forces him out of touch. First down, Saskatchewan at the 40 of Laval. They go right back on the ground to Riker Frank, and this time the Rouge et Or stack him up and hold him to a gain of 3 on the play.
Feed the hot hand, give it off to Riker Frank after a big run. You can see Jean-William Rouleau was right there to close up that hole. Alec Poirier was there for relief, but still a solid run from Saskatchewan. They're rolling on this drive.
Joshua Iwanchina was to be the feature back for Saskatchewan this year, but injured his knee in week 1, and so Riker Frank has stepped in with a 6-yard average during the regular season. 2nd and 7, Saskatchewan. It's Frank again. Nowhere to go, but he manages to elude the first man. He'll be 2, maybe 3 yards short of the first down.
I find it amazing how, like you said, Josh Iwanchina was supposed to be the starter for this team entering training camp. He got hurt in the first game. Riker Frank steps in as the 3rd-string running back from last season, becomes the starter, and ends up being a Canada West All-Star.
3rd and 2, and the offense is staying on the field. Now they make some changes. Nias comes out, and the backup, Ethan Watson, comes in. He had that huge game during the playoffs, rushing for more than 100 yards versus Manitoba, and 2 touchdowns in that Hardy Cup semifinal. So 3rd and 2, Ethan Watson, the backup quarterback, will hand off to Riker Frank. Frank is hit. He may not have it. Frank was stuffed, and he'll be short of the first down.
Big defensive stand for Laval after allowing a series of large rushes from Riker Frank.
Looks like they're getting a favorable spot, though. We'll have to see exactly where they place the ball.
You can see the ends just clogged up, and there was no room for Riker Frank to get through there. Might get a favorable spot. We'll see.
Laval, the hard-hitting halfback, gets his nose in there. Ball's right at the 30. The nose of the ball right at the 30. This is so close. It is a first down by an inch or 2. A very favorable spot. You can see Rouleau having words with referee Al Gates. It looked like they stopped him a yard short on first contact, but great effort by Riker Frank. And this drive continues. First down, Saskatchewan at the Laval 30-yard line. The opening series, they went to the air. On this second series, it's been Riker Frank. And he gets his number called again. Frank, upfield, breaking the first tackle. And he makes about 5 yards on the play after being hit about a yard across the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they're feeding the hot hand. Riker Frank has had, so far, a pretty good game. And what they're trying to do is, 1, see how much success they can accomplish with the run. Every time Riker Frank touches the ball, he's breaking at least 1 to 2 tackles. You see right there, he's picking up yardage, at least 5.
Riker Frank playing a huge role on this second series. 2nd down and 5 at the Laval 25-yard line. To the air. Nias goes. It's complete for a first down just outside the 10-yard line. And it's Caleb Morin with the catch for Saskatchewan, their 3rd leading receiver this season.
And Mason Nias had Caleb Morin on his mind the entire time, stared him down, threw it right across the middle. Caleb Morin was their 3rd leading receiver this season with 503 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. And he catches in double coverage and comes down with it, picks up the first down.
1st and 10 at the Laval 12. The Huskies marching. Fake pitch out. It's a sweep to Perry. Daniel Perry loses his balance and goes down just across the 8-yard line. There is a flag on the play.
You saw a bit of trickery on that play. Mason Nias faked the pitch to Riker Frank and then pitches it to Perry, and he cuts around the edge. It seemed like he kind of tripped up on his own player there.
Holding on your tackle.
So it's a holding call against Saskatchewan.
Holding. That's around. Saskatchewan. 6-7, 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
1st and 20. The rookie, Jack Warwick, out of Strathmore. A rare rookie to start on the offensive line in Saskatchewan, but 4 days into training camp, Scott Flory knew this kid had what it took. But He takes a big holding penalty here, pushing back his team to the 22, 1st and 20. Nias with some play action, throwing for the end zone to Morin. Oh, and he can't get his hand on it. Caleb Morin one-hands it, in and out, incomplete.
And Mason Nice decided to go to Caleb Morin one more time. You see again, he's eyeing him all the way down the field, and he beats coverage, and he's wide open. Cannot get both hands on the ball. Missed opportunity for the Saskatchewan Huskies offense. Let's see if they can rebound.
That might be the first incomplete pass that Nias has thrown. I mean, he's been sharp. He's been moving the ball around. Diversified attack. Big play here, 2nd and 20. They're in field goal range. Here comes the Laval blitz. Nias gets the ball away. It's complete to Jordan Rusnak, but he'll be shy of the first down. It's a gain of 7 and a field goal situation for the Huskies.
Rusnak is a player we didn't see much of this season. He only had 7 receptions and 106 yards on this #1 passing attack. But you see right there, Mason Nice catches the low snap. Rusnak runs the hook, comes back, catches it in open field, and gets caught up short of the first down.
So David Soley will line up for his first field goal attempt of this Vanier Cup from the 20-yard line. He was good on 17 of 21 this season, his longest 44. Ball is up and good. So the Huskies hit the scoreboard first in this Vanier Cup on a 20-yard David Soley field goal. And monopolizing time with the football with 6:27 to go in this first quarter. The Huskies are up. Monopolized the football in this opening quarter, just 6 minutes and 27 seconds to play. And a 3-0 lead to show for the wind at their backs. Nias has been absolutely terrific, completing 7 of 8 passes so far in this quarter. These were his numbers this year that made him #1, 345 yards passing, 18 touchdowns, just 2 shy of Desjardins. Back to live action. And a big game for the big man from 1 week ago. Kalenga Muganda with a first down rush up the gut. 1 week ago, he torched the Mustangs for 173 yards and a 7-yard average.
And as you said, last week Muganda was the model of consistency for this Laval offensive attack. They're trying to settle in the run again today, see what they can get out of Muganda, because that'll determine the tone of the game.
13 yards on his first carrier. Muganda again up the gut. And still driving the pile. Here come the Hoggies in a big scrum at midfield. So it's a gain of 5 for Muganda, who spent 1 year of junior college football in California at the College of the Canyons before returning to Quebec.
And you can see this season, he only rushed for 242 rushing yards, but in the Mitchell Bowl against Western, he had 173 rushing yards. He was the game's leading rusher. It's almost like he came out of nowhere in the Mitchell Bowl.
Well, and a team that passes 80% of the time and then spread the ball around in committee. Frederick Antoine on 2nd and 5 has the catch and the Laval first down. Antoine, another transfer player who came back to Laval after 3 years in the NCAA at Old Dominion.
He was a little bit injured this season, only had 19 receptions for 213 yards, but he has become fully healthy in the playoffs and is fully available for this Rouge offense.
So it's 1st and 10 for Glenn Constantine, seeking his 10th Vanier Cup title as a head coach at Laval. At the 48 of Saskatchewan, it's Muganda crashing up the middle against this 30-man front. It'll be a gain of 3 on the play. This is a different front that Laval is used to playing in the RSAQ with a 3 down linemen and 4 linebackers. And that big man, Jonathan Leggett, at nose tackle from Okotoks, a D tackle who can bench 455 pounds. 2nd and 7, it's Kevin Mattel, the Heck Crichton champion. He has a gain of 8 and a first down, and he swarmed. And the Husky defense obviously paying a lot of attention to this man. There's no one else like him in U Sports this year in terms of receivers.
Kevin Mattel is the best receiver in U Sports football right now. 751 yards, 12 touchdowns. just get him involved in the game. Get the ball in his hands early and try to set the tone today for him, because he's going to be a big piece for this passing attack.
For this series, the Rouge et Or had a 2-and-out offensive series. That's it. So finally moving the ball. Magunda takes the handoff, lowers the boom. He'll have a gain of 5 on the play. So Magunda continues to push the pile and be the feature back in this offense that was running by committee this season with 4 different backs.
And you know what's interesting? We talk about the similarities between these two teams all season long. You look at Saskatchewan trying to establish the run save through Riker Frank, and you look at Laval trying to establish the run through Kalenga and Muganga. Again, the consistencies continue in both these offenses.
Desjardins is flushed from the pocket, rolling right, throws downfield. It's complete to Dansereau Leclerc for another first down. Big scramble by Desjardins in only his 2nd year at quarterback for Laval.
And one of the things he always gets compliments on is how poised and confident, cool and collective he is in the pocket. The pocket breaks down, he rolls out. He has Muganda open, but he wants more. He sees Leclerc open on the sideline, and he completes that pass for a first down.
He's got so much poise, they almost have to, well, they've asked him to show more urgency, right? To pull the trigger a little faster. 1st and 10, and it's Dallaire and Muganda now in the Wildcat. Muganda takes the snap, runs up off tackle right. You'll have a gain of 4, but again, this is a different kind of front, the different looks you'll get from Laval. First it was Dallaire and Wildcat, then Muganda.
And this is more trickery that we've seen this season from Glenn Constantine than we've seen before. They have so many pieces on that offense. They can do so many different things. Talk about Dallaire. Normally he lines up in the Wildcat. Seeing Muganda line up in the Wildcat, it just goes to show there's so many different layers to this offense.
2nd and 6. Muganda at 6 yards a carry so far. Desjardins to the end zone. Incomplete. Intended for Muganda, and great coverage by Lane Novak, the Will linebacker.
And Lane Novak is one of those talented linebackers that can play great coverage. Muganda runs the wheel route. Lane Novak is all over him. He didn't look back, but he also didn't touch him. Gets his hands up, clean coverage.
First extended offensive drive for Laval as they'll head off for a field goal attempt on 3rd and 6. 9 plays, 69 yards to set up this field goal attempt. Be a 15-yard attempt from the right hash mark for Vincent Blanchard. Longest this year was 36. Ball is up and good. So we have a tie football game in the late going of this opening quarter, and the Laval Rouge et Or finally getting established into the win on offense. And a close game as we expected here in the Vanier.
Welcome back to the Canada Life Vanier Cup on CBC. Kalenga Muganda, who you saw feature in on that opening drive of the game for Laval, has a great story. He came back from junior college in California because he was homesick. He draws a lot of strength and inspiration from his family, in particular his mother, Claudine, who left the Congo in the year 2000 during the genocide and had to come back, redo her diploma, raise 4 boys, energetic boys, and he says she's been through so much, she's my inspiration. Let's go back to Mark and Deshaun.
Daniel Perry with a gain of 7 on that play-action pass as the Huskies decide to scrimmage at their own 35 after the Laval field goal. And remember Muganda, he got to training camp in Laval and he announced that he was the best running back in the country, and his teammates said, we got to tell you something, you're not the best guy on this team, so you're gonna have to earn that.
Yeah, but he's getting the opportunity to earn it here. He wasn't the starter all season. He played behind Duff, but he was able to show up when it mattered the most last week in the Mitchell Bowl. And now he has the opportunity to prove he might be one of the best.
Daniel Perry, the first team All-Canadian, 2nd and 3. Play action. Nias going down for Perry. He's open and got it! Daniel Perry with a big scoring play.
And you see the benefit of establishing the run. On 2 consecutive plays, Mason Nias fakes the handoff to Riker Frank, and he has Perry open downfield. And Perry creates enough separation to give him some space over Lavalier, comes down with that pass. Big time play from their first team All-Canadian.
Daniel Perry takes it all the way to the Laval 27 in coverage by Maxime Lavallee. First down, Saskatchewan. Frank in the backfield for the Huskies. 3 receivers to the boundary. It's a pitch out to Riker Frank, and he's stopped right at the line of scrimmage.
A pitch to Riker Frank, and he follows the block of their Canada West All-Star, Dustin Black, able to pick up some yardage. Again, keep him in the game, keep him fresh, and keep this Laval defense respecting the run game.
Daniel Perry through the air, Riker Frank on the ground. And the Huskies continue to move the yardstick. 2nd and 9. Nias downfield for Perry. He's got it, loses his footing at about the 9-yard line, but good enough for another first down. 1st and goal, Saskatchewan. Daniel Perry having a red-letter day here in London, Ontario. As we reach zeros on the clock after 1 quarter of this 2022 Vanier Cup. We're all tied at 3, Laval and Saskatchewan.
Schneider's slow-smoked bacon makes birth dates, these dates, and date dates better too. Because Schneider's bacon makes everything taste better.
Pampers Swaddlers feature lock-away channels. They stay 2 times drier, so babies can sleep soundly all night. Pampers.
Go, go, go!
Great, got them all warmed up for me.
It's the holiday special.
The pressure is on.
Tis the season of beautiful bakes.
I'm having a good day.
The Great Canadian Baking Show Holiday Special. Sunday at 8 on CBC. Stream free on CBC Gem.
First quarter stats brought to you by Wilson, the official football of U Sports. And decidedly in the Huskies' favor, 177 total yards to 68 for Laval on that one drive, that one productive drive that led to their field goal.
Yeah, and Saskatchewan's done an amazing job of establishing the run to help set up the pass. Riker Frank with 58 on the ground, resulting in 119 in the first quarter from Mason Nias. Amazing first quarter for this team.
Daniel Perry with 86 yards on 3 catches so far, and what's been an emotional season for him. His father, John, had brain cancer surgery earlier this year. They couldn't get all of the tumor. It means that his dad's situation is terminal. John is at the stadium today to watch his son, and Daniel has pledged to deliver a Vanier Cup for his dad. And so far, he's doing a great job. 1st and 10. Nias again to the air. It's complete, just shy of the goal line. That's Cody Gutek makes the catch.
And even on that play, Daniel Perry did a great job of running off his DB to create room for that play to unfold.
2nd and goal from the 3-yard line. Saskatchewan threatening again in this opening, or rather 2nd quarter now, the opening drive of this 2nd quarter. Riker Frank in the backfield. Nias, hands off. Frank with a straight arm, cuts upfield, and he's cut down right at the line of scrimmage. Felix Petit, the safety, in on the tackle for Laval.
And they brought the blitz on that play.
Oh, there's an injured Rouge or player, one of their D linemen, it appears. Looks like Jean-William Rouleau. He's an All-Canadian, and Rouleau, a key feature of that defensive line at defensive tackle. 92, watch him. Got tangled up, it seemed, at the end of that encounter. Rouleau in his 3rd year out of Rimouski, CJEP. Led Laval with 3.5 sacks this year, but he's up and off the field under his own steam. He's favoring that left arm. So 3rd and goal from the 3-yard line for Saskatchewan, and the offense is staying on the field. Big 3rd down. Scott Flory rolling the dice in the early going of this Vanier Cup. Riker Frank in the backfield, flanking Nias. Nias, play action, he'll throw. Rolling right now, he can run, there's all kinds of daylight. Now he throws, it's complete, touchdown. Everett Iverson on the receiving end of that 3-yard touchdown pass from Mason Nias.
What a big play for the Saskatchewan Huskies offense. Everett Iverson was not much involved in this offense this year. And you saw on that play, Mason Nias rolled out. He had all that space to the right of the field. And it seemed like he was going to try to run it in, but he catches Iverson at the last moment. And Iverson comes down with it in a great play to put 7 points on the board for this offense.
Iverson had 2 catches in 3 regular season games this year. Point after is good. And so Nias, with his first touchdown pass of this game, puts his team in front after a 7-play, 75-yard drive.
Again, sets up the play, rolls out, and Iverson is right there to make the catch. Seemed like he was going to run it in, but catches Iverson at the last moment. But again, on that play action. Defense has to respect the run, and that is why you want to establish the run early. It is working in Saskatchewan's favor early on in this game.
It sure looked like Nias could have run that ball in.
I thought he was going to.
He kept hesitating, rolling, then found Iverson, the unlikely receiver, to step into the spotlight here in this first half.
I wonder what his 40 is. You see Mason Nias, 12 for 13, 129 yards in the second quarter. 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Very characteristic of what he's been doing all season long.
1 incompletion so far. Duff and Yannick Mas to return. It is Alex Duff stumbling at his own 15. Duff upfield. And he's hammered and taken down at his 35-yard line by Lane Novak, making the tackle for Saskatchewan.
Lane Novak does it all. He can play on special teams. He can drop back in coverage. He can blitz.
Here comes Arnaud Desjardins after leading that last 68-yard drive. Look at his numbers. I mean, he led the country with 20 touchdown passes. What an impressive completion percentage. 73.8%. And Glenn Constantine was comparing him to Benoit Groulx, the 2-time Vanier Cup champion and Heck Crichton winner back in the day at Laval. He's only a second-year starter. Desjardins dumps it ahead to Dallaire, David Dallaire, the fullback, for a short gain on the play as Charlie Ringland makes the tackle for Saskatchewan. It's a gain of 5 on the play.
And the pocket broke down. And similarly to Mason Nias on his last play, Arnaud Desjardins had some room to run on that play, didn't choose to take it, pitches it off to Dallaire, picks up a very, very short gain, 2nd and 5.
The 2nd and 5. Desjardins, law student who will do his MBA before arguing so he can still play 5 years. Desjardins, look at the poise. Now he's going to keep it. Upfield sliding and takes a hit. He'll have the first down, but he'll draw a flag as a hit to the head. Big time collision. Looked like Connor Delahaye, that late hit.
And you see the pocket breaks down, and this time Desjardins takes the opportunity to run, and he slides pretty early.
So he had first down yardage. Here's the late hit. Last week, Desjardins had trouble with his passing hands. I don't remember seeing that on the sideline. They worked him over and over, and he said he was cramping up because he was dehydrated. But he's told us before this game that he has no problems this week. Play action now. Desjardins throwing deep downfield for Mattel. He's up for it and got it. Kevin Mittal with a 30-yard catch in the spotlight for the first time this afternoon.
A big play from the Hank Crichton Award winner. And you see he is being covered by Charlie Ringland, who is a Canada West All-Star. So that's one of their best DBs. But Mittal is able to get that outside release. He tracks the ball, goes up above Ringland, and comes down with it. Big play from your Hank Crichton Award winner.
1st and 10. As we look at the big numbers put up by Mittal. 12 touchdowns to lead the nation, set a Laval record. There's a long pass for Mittal, incomplete into the end zone. 2nd down, Laval. Mittal was in a class of his own this year in the RSEQ and new sports in general. Put up 3 touchdowns in the second half of the Dunsmore Cup to rally his football team. Look at the yardage for reception there, 13 yards, 94 yards a game, 2nd in the nation. He's a primetime player, and no question the CFL already has its sights on him. The timeout taken by Laval on 2nd and 10 with the ball on the Saskatchewan 20. Getting back to last week in the cold and dampness, Desjardins had trouble holding onto the football, had trouble extending the thumb on his passing hand. And the trainer worked him over, stayed with him as he walked out on the field, was massaging his forearm and really trying to loosen, the flexibility of his hand. As soon as he took the snap on that series, 2nd play, he bobbled it, then kind of palmed the ball. He didn't have a good grip on it. It was knocked down and intercepted on that play. And so it's happened not once but twice this season. This was the scene last week. You can see the athletic trainer staying with Desjardins as he moves out on the field. And then this was the play. 2 plays after that, seen on the sideline. Not much in the ball, just flipping it almost. Knocked down by Max von Guldorfer, who also scooped up the interception. So hydration is something they keep an eye on when it comes to Desjardins. 2nd and 10. Ball at the 20 of Saskatchewan.
Check Mittal in the slot.
Desjardins under pressure. He's at the line of scrimmage, dumps it across. It's complete. Isaac Galdarditz makes the catch for a 1st down. Another supporting actor in this offense, somebody you don't see too often.
And once again, the pocket breakdown, which is going to be a theme all day, but Desjardins is able to roll out and continue going through his reads. Finds the receiver. He makes an amazing catch, but Desjardins, again, calm, cool, and collected as the pocket breaks down. A theme for this young quarterback. Desjardins
throws at what they call a catchable ball. I mean, he doesn't bullet the ball into his receivers. Reminds me a lot of Ricky Ray, the way he puts that ball in there. 1st and goal. It's David Dallaire under center. Now Muganda in this Wildcat offense. Muganda, 3 yards, touchdown, Laval. Kalenga Muganda saunters through the Saskatchewan defense on a 3-yard carry for the touchdown.
And once again, they show Muganda in the Wildcat. You know the run is coming. And he's able to follow his offensive line into the end zone with Dallaire on the side. Dallaire with a key block, but Muganda takes the inside hole. Again, you know the run is coming, and this Saskatchewan defense is not able to stop. He follows Nicolas Gay and Thibodeau into the end zone. 2 RSEQ All-Stars.
Point after from Blanchard is good, and we're all tied at 10. With 11:19 to go in the 2nd quarter, Muganda featured again today after that outstanding Mitchell Bowl. He hits the end zone for the 1st time in this game for Laval.
Why did we make our Lysol wipes biodegradable? So you can continue to help protect your family from germs while helping protect the planet. Lysol biodegradable wipes are made with a plant-based disinfectant and plant-based fibers, making them tough on bacteria while being gentle on the planet. Lysol, what it takes to protect.
and dry skin. Eucerin Complete Repair has a unique combination of urea and ceramides that retain moisture to strengthen the skin's natural barrier for long-lasting dry skin relief. Eucerin, recommended by dermatologists.
Whether it's a last-second bake sale, Taco Tuesday, or a meal for your future in-laws, it's gonna be great. With Clubhouse quality by your side for over 130 years, it's gonna be great.
Found at the Bay. Shop gifts online and in-store.
It's time for a new adventure.
From Disney, the wait is over.
Jumping jelly sticks. We got magic?
Now comes the fun part.
Disney's Disenchanted, now streaming.
Kalenga Muganda, the Mitchell Bowl Offensive Player of the Game, has the first Laval touchdown on a 3-yard run. It's 10-10 here in the second quarter. Here's the sidelines and Rob Pizzo.
Well, thank you very much, Mark. And if Mason Nice looks busy on the field, you don't know the half of it. His schedule is absolutely jam-packed. Not only is he, of course, the quarterback of the Saskatchewan Huskies, and he's got his own schoolwork to deal with, but he's pursuing a Bachelor of Education, which means this year he actually had to teach at a local high school. He taught grade 9 math, and he taught grade 12 history, all while maintaining an 80% average to become an academic All-Canadian for the 4th straight year. Guys, I don't know about you, but after saying all that, I feel kind of lazy.
Kickoff from Blanchard goes through the end zone over the head of Ted Kabongo for a single as Laval puts good use to that wind. So a Rouge for the Rouge-Or, and this team has used the Rouge to good fortune back in the Dunsmore Cup. Remember the wide field goal from Blanchard for a walk-off Rouge to beat Montreal Caravan 25-24.
Like you said, the Rouge for the Rouge-Or has proven to be very special for this team this season. So what is the Vanier Cup without a Rouge?
1st and 10 Saskatchewan. They'll scrimmage from the 35-yard line. Nice has been almost perfect through the air. Kabongo takes the handoff. Ted Kabongo into open space. Ted Kabongo off to the races. And finally hauled down to the 23. Ted Kabongo gashing the Rouge-Or.
Ted Kabongo, the transfer from UBC. He's their running back, but I like to call him a jack of all trades. He's a Canada West All-Star, 831 all-purpose yards. When he takes that ball, he essentially becomes a kick returner. He's able to find holes and make something out of nothing, and he was able to do it right there. Big game for this offense to put them to field goal range, and they're moving.
First down at the 22 of Laval. Play action, Nias to Morin. Morin is hammered at the line of scrimmage. It's Maxime Lavallee, the RSEQ All-Star, who led the team in tackles this year, and he's part of that Bermuda Triangle in that Laval defense.
And that's a huge hit from Lavallee. I like to call him a halfback by position, but linebacker by production. Statistically, but the film tells it, big hit from Lavallee to shut down that pass ability.
Gain of 2, 2nd and 8. Lavallee and Beaulieu, the 2 halfbacks. Poirier, the MAC linebacker. That's the Bermuda Triangle. 2nd and 8. At the 20, here comes the blitz. Nias in the pocket with time. It's incomplete. There's a flag on the play. Ball intended for Everett Iverson. In coverage, Nick Lassard at the field quarterback position. Anton Hay was a late scratch for this game, so Lassard comes in for Hay. And this looks like it'll be pass interference against Laval.
Interference illegal. Laval, 15-yard penalty. First down. Sorry. Correction.
And that's the first sign of Saskatchewan targeting. And you can see, that was a pass interference. The first sign of them targeting Lassard all day. Like you said, he was a late addition to the game. We wondered all day whether or not they would target him and see if they could get anything off of him with Everett Iverson, and that's the first play.
Because that penalty happened inside the 15, it'll be a spot foul. So they'll get the ball at the 8-yard line. First and goal, Saskatchewan. Bongo is out on the field in the slot. Play action to Riker Frank. It's complete to Daniel Perry. Perry loses his footing and is downed at the 3-yard line.
Daniel Perry is having a big game.
Perry's had trouble with his footing in this football game, and the field is brand new and conditions are ideal.
Yeah, that's about the 3rd time he's actually slipped today. You can see right there, he goes to make a move to cut into the end zone, and he slips on that turn. But again, he's having an amazing game, and that's what you want to see. Your Canada West All-Star, your first-team All-Canadian, balling out on the biggest stage.
Second and goal for Perry with 92 yards through the air and the Huskies. Blitz coming. Nias gets the ball away. It's complete. Touchdown, Red Favre for Saskatchewan. Mason Nias continues to pick apart this Laval secondary.
Laval brought the blitz. You can see that they brought the heat, and Mason Nias tried to buy himself as much time as possible, taking his drop back. He finds Red Favre, and you can see that Lassard actually tripped up and freed up Red Favre and made some separation for him to capture that pass and bring it to the end zone. Their second touchdown of the day. This Saskatchewan offense is rolling.
So Saskatchewan burning the backup quarterback for Laval. The point after is up and good from David Soley. So these teams continue to match each other back and forth down the field. It's the Huskies on top. Mason Nias, the school teacher from Saskatoon, who's got a bunch of kids cheering him on this afternoon, has been absolutely spectacular through the air with but one incompletion, 2 touchdown passes. Look at that, 15 of 16 for 140 yards. And the Rouge don't have an answer right now.
And he's proving why he was essentially a second-team All-Canadian and the Canada West MVP. He's playing a near-perfect game today.
Soley with the kick into the wind. Alex Duff has the ball at his 23. Nowhere to go. Great cover by Saskatchewan. Big tackle by Tom Whiting, the 5th-year man out of Saskatoon, playing in his final football game in U Sports competition. So Laval will scrimmage 1st and 10 from their own 25-yard line. After a return of just 2. Gunde in the backfield. It's almost like last score wins in this football game, the way they've been matching each other. Play action. Desjardins downfield. Mattel is open. Galloping downfield. Ringland can't bring him down. Finally wrestled to the turf. With some help from Finn Marcotte-Cribb. But there's the connection that lit up the RSEQ this year. Desjardins to Mattel.
Now you're getting a sense of why Kevin Mattel won the Heck Prize Award. You see him take a knee right there. But Desjardins plays off the play action. Mattel is wide open down the middle of the field. He once again beats Charlie Ringland, who was a Canada West All-Star. And you can see Cribb tries to bring in some help. It takes 2 people to bring down Mattel, but a big gain for this Rouge offense. Mattel right now is down on 1 knee.
It's a 47-yard gain, but Mattel is down on the field. He's down on 1 knee. So the Rouge athletic staff working on his left knee. It looked to me like he banged it hard as he went down on the tackle.
In a replay, he opens up right there, catches that pass, gives Ringland a stiff arm. Marcotte-Cribb comes in, and yes, he does bang that knee. 2 players fall on top of him.
So Mattel able to walk off. He's not limping, so that's a good sign for the Heck Crichton Trophy winner. 3 catches so far for 84 yards. The big play receiver for Laval. 1st and 10 now at the 37 of Saskatchewan. The ball is away. Dansereau Leclerc with a move. Gets inside Marcotte-Cribb, and he'll have another 1st down for the Rouge. It's a gain of 13 yards on the play. Antoine Dansereau Leclerc who also was on the roster for this Laval team in 2018, the last time they won the Vanier Cup.
See, he drops Marcotte Cribb. Marcotte Cribb touched the earth right there.
Muganda gets the call, lowers his head. Tough sledding up the gut as he faces George Idoko. Short gain on the play for Muganda. A gain of 3, let's make it.
Go back to the run. You've already seen Muganda's been having an amazing day today. Go back to the run. Continue to keep that run established with this Saskatchewan front 7.
So it's 2nd and 7 with the ball on the Saskatchewan 21. Big Jonathan Leggett, that nasty nose tackle. Part of that threesome from the Vanier Cup last year with Riley Pickett and Nathan Cherry onto the CFL's BC Lions. Desjardins looking to the end zone. It's incomplete. Edouard Arsenault was the intended receiver. He had his hands up looking for a call. Vin Marcotte Cribb, the field corner, in coverage, and so the field goal unit comes on for Laval.
And it seems like they're targeting Marcotte Cribb a lot on this drive. That is the 3rd time a receiver has been targeted in his vicinity. So you can see this Laval offense has their DB that they're going to be picking on all afternoon.
This will be a 27-yard attempt for Vincent Blanchard. Ball is up and good. So the Rouge et Or can't answer touchdown for touchdown, but they have another field goal, their 2nd of the game, as Mason Nias warms and gets set to come back on offense when we return to London, Ontario. Kalenga Muganda of the Rouge et Or has their only touchdown and 36 yards on the ground so far in this Vanier Cup. Well, 1 week ago, he saved the day with 173 yards on the ground.
And you can see they were able to establish run with Kalenga Muganda, veer away from the passing attack with Maital being shut down by that secondary. And Kalenga Muganda was able to essentially lead this offense to a win in the Metroville.
Riker Frank gets the call for Saskatchewan. A straight arm, tries to bounce outside, but he'll have a gain of only 1 on the play as Tom Landry gets in there to make the tackle for the Rouge et Or. The thing about Muganda last week, though, is that he touched the ball for the first time after Laval went through all those mishaps with the 3 high snaps and the 2 turnovers. And his first carry was 14 yards. His second carry was 21 yards. And that's where Glenn Constantine said, we're going with this hot hand. Suddenly, Laval turned into the old running team we used to know. 2nd and 9. Nias passing, looking wide side, under pressure, escapes the rush, throws it downfield, and it's incomplete, intended for Daniel Perry. So, really for the first time in this football game, the Rouge et Or have been able to put some heat on Nias and force him into some confusion.
And you know Mason Nias, he actually gets normally uncomfortable when the pressure comes. He doesn't like being hit. He doesn't like when the pocket closes down. He's able to escape there, keep his composure. But you can see Lavalier is all over Daniel Perry and shuts him down on that play.
He was complaining that he may have been face masked there. Here's Alex Duff at his 46, right up the middle, in this stout Huskies special teams denies him a return of maybe only 4 or 5. That's Lane Novak again, sticking his nose into the fray for Saskatchewan.
As Laval's offense comes back on the field, I'm curious to see if they'll continue. And you can see the face mask. There may have been a face mask ball right there on Mason Nias that was missed.
Like Poirier maybe had his hand up as he went by.
With Laval's offense back on the field, I'm curious to see if they'll continue to target Marcotte Cribb at the bottom of your screen there.
Great field position with the wind at their back. Ball at the 55. Vital is back in the lineup. They hand off to Muganda. He cuts upfield. Oh, what a tackle by Nick Weeb. Nick Weeb, the transfer from Oregon in the NCAA, lassos Muganda.
Nick Weeb had 40.5 tackles this season. He might be one of the best linebackers in the country. He wasn't a Canada West All-Star this year, but he travels well. He's able to track the run, close down holes, and you can see he closes in on Muganda, takes him down, and stops that run.
Weeb used to tackle the likes of Jonathan Taylor in the NCAA. There he stiffs Muganda. 2nd and 8. Desjardins, look at the poise. Now he's going to run. Oh, and he stopped shy of the first down. Tackle by Connor Delahaye. Didn't start, didn't dress last week in the UTEC Bowl.
And the pocket breaks down, and Connor Delahaye is in spy. He knows that Arnaud Desjardins is capable of running. He is right there to contain him and stop him from getting any more yardage.
It's a big defensive series for Saskatchewan, given that Laval started this drive at center field with the wind at their back, forcing them to punt. Weeb is deep to return for Saskatchewan. He stands at his goal line. Vincent Blanchard with a high shot, short kick. Weeb takes it at the 15. There's a flag on the play. This is likely no yards. They'll add another 15 yards to this return. Pushing and shoving after the fact as tempers begin to flare. Nick Weeb having words with Jaden Engel, the long snapper for Laval. So it is a no yards call against Laval. It'll be a 15-yard penalty. And Nias and the Huskies will start at their 30.
And it seems like they've taken Nick Lassard out of the game. At the top of your screen, he is not there at corner anymore.
Kabongo motions from the slot into the backfield. He'll take the handoff from Nias. Breaks tackle, stays on his feet, twisting and turning, and dives for a first down. Ted Kabongo in a singular effort for 12 yards.
As I said, he's a jack of all trades. He's a running back, but when he takes that ball, he essentially becomes a kick returner. He knows how to make something out of nothing, and you see he's able to break numerous tackles and still pick up yardage on that play. He's extremely talented. Canada West All-Star for a reason.
Kabongo leaving the Rouge et Or defensive line in a heap for a gain of 12 and a first down. Heavy front now for Saskatchewan as Zach LePage comes in on an extra lineman. Morin makes the catch, ducks the first tackle, and he's wrapped up quickly for a gain of 5 on the play. Arnaud Laporte coming in to the backfield. He's the backup to the backup at corner. We've hit the 3-minute warning in London, Ontario, with the Huskies up by a field goal in the Canada Life Vanier Cup.
Valentino. Born in Roma Fragrances, many ways to be you, and the new choral fantasy, Valentino.
Take me up into the stratosphere.
It's nothing.
Sounds like something.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, unsystemic diarrhea.
Pepto-Bismol coats and soothes for fast relief when you need it most.
Glenn Constantine, in his 21st season as head coach at Laval, has won more games and more Vanier Cups than any other coach in history. 201 wins, breaking the old record of 196 held by Brian Towers of Saskatchewan. Now he's seeking his 10th national title as head coach of the Rouge et Or. So impressive resume. Former linebacker at the University of Ottawa, has become one of the game's great head coaches. 2nd and 5. Kabongo is in at slot. Frank in the backfield. Kabongo motioning. Now goes back to the short side. Here comes an extra blitz. Nias gets the ball away. Oh, in and out of the hands of Red Babra. He was open. And so Nias and the Huskies will have to punt. And 2:20 to go, more time for Laval to answer back.
And Mason Nias and that offense have been attacking the middle of the field all day. Rhett Varvra, again, is able to create separation. He has a chance to pull in that ball. He has both hands on it, just can't bring it down. Missed opportunity for this offense.
Favre, perhaps the fastest man in that receiving corps, just off his fingertips. Alex Duff back to return. This punt from David Soley. Good punt into the wind, over his head. Duff misjudged it, picks it up at his own 15. And again, little or no return. A gain of 6 maybe. And some more pushing after the whistle. But this Huskies punt cover has been absolutely a dragnet on that football field.
And you can see the game is beginning to slow down. Both teams have experienced numerous 2-and-outs. Let's see which team can experience a breakthrough and maybe hit the end zone, put some points on the board before we enter halftime.
Solely with that high spiraling punt cutting through the gusting south wind. They'll push the Rouge back to their 21-yard line with 2:06 to go. Solely's best this year was 55 yards. So Duff now in at running back, replacing Muganda. Mattel on the receiving end of that pass from Desjardins. It's a gain of 5, and there's all kinds of talking going on out there. We know that Mattel likes to run his mouth, and he's engaging these Husky DBs.
He's confident. I like to call him Showtime. But you see he enters back into the game, and Arnaud Desjardins stares him down the entire time. They want to get him back in the game. They want to let Saskatchewan know that, hey, this is going to be our number 1 receiver for today. Not surprised to see them go straight to Mattel.
2nd and 5, movement on the D-line. Duff stays at running back, and he'll be shy of the first down, but there are flags down on the play. Delahaye making the tackle for Saskatchewan. Duff is the more explosive of the running backs, but he doesn't have the same burst in terms of power that Muganda has, it seems.
Yeah, and if you look at Laval's run game all season, they're more of a run by committee team. 3 different backs rushing for over 200 yards apiece, making up that rushing attack for what it is. But Duff was the starter. Duff was the number 1 man entering today's game, or entering even the Mitchell Bowl, but it seems like Muganda has really burst out onto the scene over the last 2 games and been that leader coming out the backfield for this offense.
You look at some of the numbers they put up in the running game. I mean, Duff only had 142 yards rushing in the regular season. Muganda 248. You know, Moss was their leading running back with 35 yards a game.
Closure, offside, 5-yard penalty, first down.
So that movement we did see.
Correction, that penalty was.
That movement we did see on the line of scrimmage was offside by the Saskatchewan defense. So first down for the Rouge et Or. Alex Duff stays in at running back. Just under 2 minutes to play in this opening half. Desjardins along the line of scrimmage, can't find anybody. Looking for Mattel. He was covered on the play by Catley Joseph. It's incomplete.
Catley Joseph, Canada West All-Star. He had 25 tackles this season and 2 interceptions. He's a transfer from Maine, and they decided to put him on Kevin Mattel due to the unsuccess that Charlie Ringland has had today. But again, you see how calm Arnaud Desjardins is as the pocket breaks down in his rollout. Very calm, cool, and collected.
It's almost ridiculous to see how calm he is in the fray. 2nd and 10. 4-man rush from Saskatchewan. Desjardins, the ball away is complete to Dansereau Leclerc for Laval first down, and Ringland drives him into the turf for a few extra moments for emphasis. And he gets a word from one of the officials.
And they move Ringland back to halfback off of Mattel. And you see they get it to Leclerc. Leclerc just runs a simple 10-yard hook. Again, they're continuing to target Charlie Ringland.
Alex Duff on the carry. Heavy sledding. It's Nick Weeb in there first, and Weeb goes down reaching for his right leg. It's only a gain of 3 on the play. These linebackers for Saskatchewan are so stout. Novak, Weeb, Hundeby, and Stoll. And blocking this 30-man front is something they're not used to. Delahaye is down. Remember, he did not dress last week. Third-year man out of Melville, Saskatchewan. You know, it's interesting, like upwards to 75% of these players for the Huskies are homegrown athletes, all from Saskatchewan, a province of 1.19 million people. Delahaye gets knocked into the pile. Then he's at the bottom of that sea of humanity. So he heads off under his own effort. Make it 2nd and 7 now for the Rouge et Or. 1:40 to go in the half. Desjardins gets the ball away. It's complete to Dansereau Leclerc. A short pass. John Stoll trying to strip him. Brings the tackle, the Melville native. It will be short of a first down. 3 yards shy.
And you can see they came with the blitz. It was Nick Weeb off the blitz on the end right there. And Stoll, the linebacker, is in coverage on Leclerc. And he does a good job of wrapping him up and stopping him from gaining any more yardage.
Stoll had an interception for a touchdown last week against St. FX in the UTEC Bowl. A big stop there, so 3rd and 3 will force Laval to punt. Favre is back at his own 10 to receive this punt from Vincent Blanchard. 40.9 yard average this year. He'll have the wind at his back as long as 60. Blanchard. Towering punt down to the 10. Favre slips, gets upfield for a gain of 4 on the play. So Laval will bury Saskatchewan deep in their own end against the wind with a little over a minute to play here until halftime.
And you can see again, this game is starting to slow down immensely. There was a lot of fireworks in the first quarter, but for the majority of the second quarter, both of these teams have gone scoreless. Their defenses are stepping up, forcing offenses out the field. Curious to see, as we close out the first half and even enter the second half, which offense can figure out how to get over these defenses.
Yes, that's right. The first time in this half, both offenses are beginning to stutter. 14-yard line, their own 14 is where Nias and the Huskies will scrimmage first down. Play action, Nias rolling right. Gets the ball away, it's complete for a first down, and it's Everett Iverson on the receiving end.
And Mason Nias with a clean play action. Dashes it to Iverson.
Check that, Caleb Morin with the catch.
And Morin right now over the middle of the field, he's wide open. And that's a solid play for this Huskies offense that's kind of been stalled in this first half.
First down, Saskatchewan. Nias with time. Hits Favre at full stride on a crossing route. Tackled by Tom Landry. It's a gain of 5 with 39 seconds to go.
Tom Landry was all over Favre on that play. You can see Mason Nias goes through his reads, catches Favre on the crosser route, and Landry's all over him. This offense is trying to see what they can do, get into field goal range maybe as we close out this second quarter.
Soli's longest this year from 44, but he'll be going into a gusting wind. Nowhere close right now. 27 seconds and counting. 2nd and 5. Mason Nias has it knocked down. Giannis Shihat gets his meat hooks up into that one to knock it down and force Saskatchewan to punt.
Once again, Saskatchewan Huskies offense has been stopped. You see Chihat right there in the middle of your screen. Gets his hand up, bats that pass down.
Soli, line drive, he shanks it, bouncing to Duff at the 47. Alex Duff up across midfield with 12 seconds to go in the first half. What do you do here? Do you take a shot? Do you just to play it conservative and head to the half and make your adjustments?
just based on how both offenses have been struggling to get points on the board, see what you can do. See if you can get to field goal range and get something on the board. Perhaps tie this game up before you head into halftime.
First down might get them within field goal range with that wind at their backs, too.
Out at the top of the screen.
Desjardins, time. To the sideline. It's incomplete. It is complete. It will be a catch on the far side. So Frederick Antoine with the catch. With 7 seconds, it's a gain of 12, and so they're going to attempt a field goal, it looks like, with the wind at their back. William Parks is the downed Saskatchewan player, the defensive end, so he and Delahaye both play that end position, and now both of them have gone off injured.
And both play such a huge part in that 30 front that Saskatchewan has, bringing the pressure, helping those linebackers off the blitz. So it's a tough blow for that defensive line to see both of those ends kind of go down here in the first half.
So this would be a 49-yard field goal with the wind. Blanchard's longest this year was 36, so it's still too far, and then they're going to keep the quarterback, send him back out. Yes, so Desjardins comes back out. Remember, Blanchard missed a 47-yard attempt for the Rouge at the end of the Dunsmore Cup on the last play 2 weeks ago. Laval has called a timeout. So even with the wind, they're really chancing it to try to attempt a field goal with the range that Blanchard has shown this year.
It's Glenn Constantine being confident in his team. You can see in the Mitchell Bowl and Dunsmore Cup, they entered halftime trailing by large margins and were still able to come back and win those games. So with 6 seconds left on the clock to close out this half, it's easy to see why Glenn Constantine would be okay with possibly going for it and trying to put some major points on the board.
Well, it's interesting. The field goal unit is on the field, and now it's coming out. So they will indeed attempt a field goal after the timeout and some second thought. Blanchard is 2 for 2 so far in this game with short field goals from 13 and 27 yards. This will be a 49-yard attempt from the left hash marks. Daniel Weeb is back to return. You don't want to return on a wide field goal either. All right. This would be his longest field goal by a mile if he can get it from 49 yards out. Vincent Blanchard with the Saskatchewan Husky bench making all kinds of racket close to him on that near hash. David Dallaire to hold. Blanchard from 49 yards out to try to tie this game. Going into the half. Ball is down, kicked. It's good. Oh, the longest field goal of the year for Blanchard with the wind at his back. And his quarterback is all stoked on the final play of the opening half. There's still .2 on the clock in the stadium. 0.2 seconds. .49 yards.
And you can see the Laval sideline was pretty amped to see that field goal made. Longest of the season for Blanchard. And now they're entering halftime tied. And it's their best halftime score since the regular season. Remember, in the Dunsmore Cup, they entered halftime trailing. In the Mitchell Bowl, they entered halftime trailing. And now the Rouge are going to enter halftime tied 17-all with the Huskies.
A 12-yard completion to Antoine, setting up that 49-yard field goal. And Nias took a knee to run out the 0.2 seconds. But they may have had too many men on the field. We'll have to wait for the official ruling here. Scott Flory says, let's just go to halftime.
Action on the play.
So they pick up the flag, and that's it. First half is in the books, and it doesn't get any closer than this. Laval and Saskatchewan tied at 17 after one half of football. Andy?
Well, Mark, the gamble paid off. We are up and running in London, Ontario for the 57th Vanier Cup. Saskatchewan taking on Laval. Yes, we're tied at 17 heading into the half. A closer look at both offenses when we return. Head-to-head here in the Vanier Cup, we find ourselves tied at 17 between Saskatchewan and Laval at the half. Let's get to the two gentlemen now who are calling today's football game. That would be Mark Lee and Deshaun Stevens. Mark.
Andy, yes, indeed. The two most prolific quarterbacks during the regular season and playoffs have picked up where they left off in this football game. Let's start with Mason Nias. I mean, 82% completion rate in his passes. He's distributed the ball to 8 different receivers, and he's put the ball in the end zone twice for passing touchdowns.
And Mason Nias is making a great case for why he should have been a first-team All-Canadian. 81% of his passes completed, 18 for 22, 164 yards, 2 touchdowns. This is a typical Mason Nias game. You are seeing him carve up that Laval secondary, find 8 different receivers, spread the ball, and of course, find the end zone.
You think he's motivated after being snubbed for the Hack Brighton, his final football game as a U Sports athlete? He's got his team in a 17-17 tie, and he's been prolific through the air. How about Arnaud Desjardins? He's passed for 182 yards, more yards, but he hasn't been able to put the ball in the end zone. This is the quarterback who led everyone in Canada this year with 20 touchdown passes.
Yeah, and Saskatchewan's defense is doing an amazing job. Charlie Ringland, Catley Joseph shutting down these Laval receivers. Aside from Kevin Matau's 2 big runs, they've been really utilizing Kalenge Muganda today and using him as that model consistency to establish this offense, similarly to what we saw last week in the Metro Bowl. So not much from Arnaud Desjardins, a lot from Kalenge Muganda. We'll see what we see in the second half from this offense.
Yeah, both teams are excellent at making those halftime adjustments. We saw that 1 week ago in the bowl games. We'll see what they've got, tied 17-17 going to the second half, Andy.
Looking forward to that second half, and fans have traveled well to support their team. But which colors will be hosting the party? 2 more quarters to go, and we'll have
it underway. Because a year ago, Toronto's program was dead. They had canceled it about this time last year.
Great core of alumni that really stepped up during that time period.
And because of that, they came back from the dead.
The 30, McCausland dropped it for a moment, and now it's off and running. McCausland with a punter to beat. Glenn McCausland. Waving goodbye!
Are you kidding me? It's like climbing Mount Everest.
It ain't over, baby. It ain't over.
If you don't like games like that, you just don't like football.
It's blocked! Trainer has it! 1 year after their own university wrote their football team off.
This is the best championship game I think I've ever seen. This is the best Vanier Cup that I've seen, and I've been around college football for a long time.
I can honestly say I've never seen a better football game in my life.
Love walking down memory lane. Let's check in with Rob Pizzo and the unknown history of the 93 Vanier Cup, Rob.
You think of all-time great Vanier Cups, Andy. How can you not think about 1993? Not only the game, which was one of the best of all time, but the storyline. University of Toronto left for dead. The alumni saved them, and then they win the Vanier Cup just 11 months later. I took a deep dive in the latest episode of The Unknown History, and everything that surrounded that game will just blow your mind. It almost feels like a Disney movie, so be sure to check that out. You can watch it on cbcsports.ca, CBC Sports' YouTube page, and of course everywhere on CBC Sports on their social media. Andy?
Versus Laval here in the Vanier Cup, tied 17-17. You know, 10 Vanier Cups, they're nice, but 11 would be better. Glenn Constantine wants more.
Well, thanks, Andy. Coach, tight game. You got to like this after the last 2 games that you faced. What adjustments, if any, are you going to make in the second half?
We got to tackle better on defense. We got to make some stops. Like things where our kids they blew a couple of coverages early, and now we're taking our pace.
So fair to say that's what you want to tighten up?
Exactly. We're moving the ball. Our kicking game's doing well, so let's tighten up on defense, and we just make one stop. We just make one more stop.
Good luck in a second.
Thank you.
All right, who will break away? Let's get to the third quarter. Mark Lee has the call alongside Deshaun Stevens.
got Florida Saskatchewan Huskies in a 17-17 tie with Glenn Constantine's Laval Rouge. The Rouge won the coin toss. They deferred to the second half, and they've decided to take the wind in the fourth quarter and give Saskatchewan the ball to start the third quarter. That's exactly what they did 1 week ago. They gave Western 2 possessions in order to have the football and the wind in the fourth.
And it's a bold move. That's essentially 14 points in the OUA, but it worked out in the end.
Blanchard to get us underway in the second half. Ted Kabongo bellying back to his 5-yard line. Kabongo upfield, it takes a massive hit. David Dallaire lowers the boom on the Husky returner.
David Dallaire used to play linebacker when he was in CJF. He was an all-star linebacker. Again, probably one of the most talented all-around football players on this field. He's a fullback, right? He can line up, single block. He could catch a pass out the slot. He's a long snapper. He's a holder. And as you can see right there, he can hit.
And he was recruited as a linebacker. I mean, the guy is so versatile. 1st and 10, Saskatchewan at their own 26-yard line. Make it to 27. Play action to passes to Kabongo in the flat, and he's chipped for a short gain of 3 on the play. The Laval defense began to slow the Saskatchewan offense in the second part of that second quarter. Look at the numbers that Nias has put up. Over 80% completion and 2 touchdowns, 164 yards through the air. His 5th year starting quarterback, who was denied the Heck Crichton Trophy on Thursday night, is determined to take home the team title from London. Nias throwing. Incomplete. Caleb Morin can't hold on to it as Hugo Leroux separates him from the football. And Saskatchewan is 2-out on their opening series here in the second half.
And a rare Mason Nias decision to essentially throw the ball into double coverage. Hugo Leroux was right there. He almost picked off the ball. That could have been an interception. He's lucky it wasn't an interception.
Alex Duff is back to return on a rare 2-out from the Huskies. End over end punt, bouncing to Duff at his own 35. Duff cuts straight upfield. He'll get to the 40 for a gain of 5. And Laval will start his second half first drive at his own 40. Desjardins, 20 touchdowns through the air to lead the country in the regular season. 3 more in the Dunsmore Cup, but none in this Vanier Cup so far. 182 yards passing. But against the Saskatchewan defense, which allowed 6 passing touchdowns in 8 games during the regular season, he's found it tough. Uganda will start the second half at running back for Laval. Play action. Dallaire takes the pass out of the backfield, and he's chipped. Catley Joseph makes the tackle, the Maine transfer, University of Maine Bear transfer, and the only Easterner on this football team. He's from Ottawa.
And like you said, the Saskatchewan Huskies are a team that like to recruit within province, a province of only 1.3 million. Love to keep their talent homegrown.
Dallaire does it all. Number 39 for the Rouge AR. 2nd and 7. Desjardins against a 4-man rush. It's across the middle. It's low. Metal loses his helmet and can't hold on to the football. And wreckage all over the field.
And Desjardins, he actually stared down Metal the entire time on that play. He saw Metal at the crosser, wanted to get it to the Heck Crichton Award winner. Metal has amazing hands. Look how low he was able to go and reach that ball. And he almost held on to it, but got hit. His helmet came off.
Made the catch, but it was separated as Ringland came in and pulverized him on the turf. So 2-out for Laval as Blanchard gets set to punt after that first half 49-yard field goal, which is the second longest in Vanier Cup history. Brian Balachak of Calgary back in 1995 kicked a 50-yard. Daniel Weave back to return this shanked punt that bounces out of bounds at the 35-yard line. So these high-powered offenses, both 2 and out to start this second half in a 17-17 ball game at the 2022 Canada Life Vanier Cup. Coach Scott Flory in his 5th season at the helm of the Huskies, in his first head-to-head meeting with Glenn Constantine of Laval. Flory has a decorated football career, 15 years in the CFL. The Alouettes, he won 3 Grey Cups, inducted into the Hall of Fame. And interestingly enough, he was a player of the last Saskatchewan team to win the Vanier Cup in 1998. Riker Frank, full steam ahead and a gain of 5, maybe 6 on the play. But can Scott Flory bring back the Vanier Cup to his alma mater? A cup that has eluded them in their last 5 visits. They have lost their last 5 Vanier Cup appearances.
And it's just crazy to see how you have this program that's almost trying to rekindle their dynasty days, going up against essentially the modern day dynasty in the Laval Rouge.
1 year after they won their last Vanier Cup in 1999, Laval won their first of 10. Nias, the ball is away. It's complete to Rhett Favre, and he pays a price as Francois Bouchard buries him. But it's a first down for Saskatchewan. Heavy hitting on this London football field.
You just got to give credit to Rhett Favre for even holding on to that pass. Mason Nice stares him down, and Bouchard brings the lick heavy. And Rhett Favre was able to hold on to that ball. Big reception.
1st and 10, Saskatchewan after that brave catch by Rhett Favre at their own 48-yard line. Mason Nias with some time. Now he moves to his left. He's going to run with the football and out of bounds into his own bench. And now there's some words there as Antoine Felix Audet-Michaud took a shot at the quarterback, out of touch.
The rare Mason Nias run. Again, the pocket breaks down like it's been breaking down all game. And Mason Nias goes to the green, sees there's nothing there, recognizes there's nothing, tucks it, runs, able to pick up some yardage. Great to see the Canada West MVP doing all he can in his final game to pick up as much yardage as he can for this offense.
So it's 2nd and 6 for Saskatchewan. Both offenses trying to get on track here in the second half. Empty set, 6 receivers downfield. It's complete. Cody Gutek has it for a first down. The Martinsville native brings it down. He had 5 catches during the regular season. He's had 2 here today.
On that play, the Rouge secondary was playing zone. They backed off and gave Gutek space to get into his route. Mason Nias recognized that and forced the ball in there as quick as possible.
Nias has seen it all. He's hard to fool. First down at the Laval 48-yard line. Riker Frank takes the handoff, and he's swallowed by the Laval defense.
Not surprised by that. See if you can continue to reestablish the run game. Notice the success in establishing the run game and how it's benefited the passing game. See if you can continue to keep Riker Frank involved in this game.
John William Rouleau, who was shaken up in the first half, back in this game. The first team All-Canadian with a big tackle there on Riker Frank. Gain of 1. 2nd and long, Saskatchewan. Who was shaken up in the first half, back in this game. The first team All-Canadian with a big tackle there on Riker Frank. Gain of 1. 2nd and long, Saskatchewan. Blitz shown by Laval, and here they come. Deep ball for Nias, intended for Daniel Perry, and it's incomplete. It's underthrown, but Maxime Lavallee was there step for step with Perry in coverage.
Yeah, and Lavallee has moved out from the halfback. He's moved to corner so he can be the primary DB on Daniel Perry, given the day that he's had. Laval brought the blitz, but Lavallee was all over Daniel Perry, able to force him on his hip out of bounds and force that Saskatchewan offense off the field.
Saskatchewan to punt. This would have been a 54-yard attempt. Duff can't find it in the sun. It goes over his head into the end zone. And he's hit. The ball's loose. And Saskatchewan's on it. It's a touchdown, Saskatchewan. Cody Gutek on that football like a linebacker on a cheeseburger. But is there no yards? Did he touch the ball?
When the ball was in the air, you saw Duff wave off as if you're saying fair catch, but there's no fair catch. There's no fair catch in Canadian University football. So you saw him go back there, wave off the ball as if there was a fair catch. It may have seemed like he touched the ball. We'll see what the referees say.
Referee Al Gates, New Brunswick, to sort this out. So no yards is the call, as we suspected. And there will be no touchdown for Saskatchewan.
But a mental error by a Glenn Constantine coach team. Again, very uncharacteristic. You saw him wave off the pass.
No yards.
Yeah, he touched the ball, and the no yards saved him.
Wow, that could have been a massive screw-up for the Rouge et Or. But they'll scrimmage first down on offense at the 25 when our coverage of the 2022 Canada Life Vanier Cup continues.
Every day, every hour, your body does so much for you. It's time to give something back. With Nivea Smooth Body Lotion, enriched with shea butter for 48 hours of deep moisture to help care for your skin.
Valentino.
Just wait there.
Born in Roma Fragrances, many ways to be you, and the new Coral Fantasy, Valentino.
I take care of my skin. Not this skin. That skin. And when you've got incontinence, you sure need to.
Tena Intimates pads lock liquid in and are now 100% breathable for day or night. Kind to skin, protects like Tena.
Meet the man behind Chippendale.
A strip club for women.
Outsider, underdog, immigrant. I made it, and I'm not going to blow it.
You can't make an American dream omelet without breaking a few eggs.
Did you know that in rare cases, banks can fail?
Yeah, that's why we have CDIC.
CDIC what now?
The Canada Deposit Insurance Corporation, a federal agency that safeguards your deposits. Check it out. See if you're protected.
Found at the Bay. Shop gifts online and in-store.
Alex Duff breathing a sigh of relief after a massive mishap in the end zone. To recap, he did touch the ball and lost control of it, but right there as he touched the ball, no yards infraction on the play by Saskatchewan. That was Jaden Engel, their long snapper, 45, who makes contact before he touched the ball. He was within 5 yards, and so no touchdown and first down for Laval. Uganda dragged down on the play by Seth Hundeby after a gain of 4 yards. So we remain tied, 17-17.
And Seth Hundeby came with the blitz on that play. He was able to get into the backfield and wrap up Uganda. Uganda tried to deliver the stiff arm, couldn't shake him off. Great play by Seth Hundeby.
Uganda has Laval's only touchdown in this football game on a 3-yard carry. Desjardins will bail and slide for a first down in front of a nasty-looking Nick Weed.
And that 3-4 front that Saskatchewan is showing is continuously breaking down the pocket. And it's giving Arnaud Desjardins room to run. And he's taking it. He's taking those yards. He's running, picking up yards, sliding, doing what he can to move this offense, given the lack of success both offenses had in the second quarter.
Desjardins showing that remarkable poise that belies his second-year status as a quarterback. Maganda takes the handoff. Maganda with a head of steam, and he'll have his best gain of this second half. 7 yards on the play. Desjardins, a 4.0 grade point average in law school. During COVID, he took extra courses, and he had a running joke with Coach Glenn Constantine. He said, do you mind slowing down a bit? Like, could you play 1 year before you graduate? He's a smart kid, processes very well. His poise is so distinctive. 2nd and 3, blitz. Ball is away. It's caught by Frederick Antoine for a first down. Antoine in coverage there, Charlie Ringland.
And Charlie Ringland has blown a few coverages today. You're seeing that Laval's receivers are having some success on him. That's the 3rd catch that's been caught on Charlie Ringland, and it was an out route by Antoine, and Arnaud Desjardins just slings a good ball into his chest.
Magunda again on the ground. Thundering forward, Nick Weed makes the tackle as Magunda continues to punish the linebackers in the Saskatchewan Husky defense. It's a gain of 5. And Laval's gone back to that old school Laval game of pounding the ball.
You're seeing that pattern of pass, run, uncharacteristic of what this team has shown this season, where they've been primarily a passing attack offense. But Magunda has been a breath of fresh air for them.
2nd and 5, Laval. Blitz coming. Desjardins dumps it away. Dassereau Leclerc will dance his way to a first down. Just chipping away at the Saskatchewan defense on the ground and short passes through the air.
And as we say about Arnaud Desjardins, he's calm, cool, collective, shows so much poise. If there's any quarterback that is designed to, accept the blitz, it's Arnaud Desjardins.
Desjardins on the keeper, the QB across the 30. And a 17-yard gain for another Laval first down.
Pocket breaks down again. Arnaud Desjardins sees a hole, and it's a read option. Instead, this time he tucks it and runs it right away. So he's noticing these holes, and he's stepping up and taking the opportunity to run, something we haven't seen from him all season long.
Hurry up for Laval offensively. Play action. Desjardins at the line of scrimmage, dumps it across the middle. It's complete to Arsenault. Edouard Arsenault making the catch. So little dump passes, nothing spectacular through the air. We haven't seen him go deep, really.
Yeah, he's kept the passing attack really calm and conservative. If you see on that last play,
looks like Carson Bell, the injured Husky defensive lineman, the Assiniboia, Saskatchewan second-year man in the arts and sciences, working on his left leg. Scott Flory, who played under the likes of Don Matthews and Mark Trestman, has learned a lot from Trestman. He says they're in regular contact, and Trestman was such a great coach at, he got the best out of every quarterback he coached, usually putting up box office numbers under Trestman, and Flory has been so good with working with Nias and getting the most out of that 5th-year quarterback, leading the nation in passing yards this year. Carson Bell will hobble off after being shaken up. Doesn't look too serious. Desjardins, 2nd and 1. Hands off to Magunda. Magunda stacked up as he crosses the line of scrimmage, but he'll have enough for a first down.
The run game has been established by the Laval Rouge et Or, and similarly to last week, it's working. Every time they hand the ball up to Magunda.
Watch this contact with George Idoko right there.
Big, physical. Magunda lowers his shoulder. He wants the contact. He's picking up yards, falls forward.
First down. Laval inside the Saskatchewan red zone. The 18-yard line. Play action. It's out of the backfield to Kevin Mattal. Mattal, straight arm, and dragged down by Charlie Ringland. In an ongoing battle they've had. A first down, and Mattal is limping back to the huddle.
You knew it would only be a matter of time before they get Mattal back involved in the game. He counters in, counters back out, and Arnaud Desjardins hits him in the flats. It seems like he's hobbling off there.
They have a crocodile roll there out of bounds. First and goal, Laval. Ball at the Saskatchewan 6-yard line. Mattal flanked wide right. Dump pass is knocked down. Charlie Ringland on the blitz from the secondary. Breaks it up for Saskatchewan.
And Charlie Ringland hasn't really had the best day, so this is a big play for him. Momentum gaining play. He comes in with the halfback blitz, and similarly to last week against St. FX, gets his hands on the ball and stops what could have been a touchdown.
Again, a bit of a short-armed lob by Desjardins. No extension there, and Ringland able to knock it down. 2nd and goal from the 6. Laval eating up all this precious time that Saskatchewan's hoping to make good use with the wind. Out of the backfield, Dasereau Leclerc reaching, won't get to the goal line, and big tackle there by Seth Hundeby. It's a gain of 3. 3rd and goal from the 3.
Hundeby having an amazing game. Again, that's another big tackle from this linebacker. And I'm looking at Maital. He's limping on his routes. So curious to know what his status is going forward, but he's taken a lot of hits in this game.
So Maital walking off to the sideline, still limping as Vincent Blanchard comes onto the field to attempt his 4th field goal of this game. He was 4 for 5 in the Mitchell Bowl with 2-point afters and a Rouge to lead the Rouge et Or 1 week ago in scoring. 10-yard chip shot for Blanchard. Dallaire to hold. Ball is down, kicked and good. And so the Rouge et Or take the lead here in the 2nd half. And there's Maital getting some attention on the Laval bench. Clearly having some discomfort in one of his legs. Our coverage continues when we return. Guys who aren't dressed and the backup Thomas Bolduc are covering up Kevin Maital as he gets some attention on the sideline. His last catch gets tackled by Charlie Ringland and then rolled right here and got up limping. So concern for Laval if he can't go the rest of the way. He's already had 100 yards on 5 catches, but held out of the end zone. Here's Nias for Saskatchewan. Past the middle, it's tipped and complete. Daniel Weeb on the deflection. Catches it just before it hits the turf. A gain of 12 and a 1st down.
And Laval's secondary was in man coverage. Mason Knights drops back. And he sees Barber wide open. Barber gets a hand on it, and Weeb stays ready. Stays ready, scoops up that pass, and moves the chains.
Weeb with that big game 1 week ago in the UTEC Bowl with 117 yards and a touchdown. Breaking tackle, yards after the catch, a saving catch there. 1st down, Saskatchewan. Kabongo on the play action. Backside roll and nothing there for Nias. Nias looking for Gutek and just throws it into the turf.
It seemed like a broken play from the jump. It seemed like Kabongo may have countered the wrong way. Handoff may not have been as clean as they wanted it to be. So Mason Nias just threw it into the dirt. Get rid of that. Move on to 2nd down.
Looked like a fullback screen that the Rouge et Or sniffed out. So it'll be 2nd and 10 for Nias. Ted Kabongo stays in the backfield. Four-man rush, the ball is away. It's complete. Caleb Morin makes the catch, but he'll be 4 yards short of a 1st down.
That was a similar look to what Mason Nice had earlier with Rhett Barber that got tipped. But this time, he throws the ball lower. Caleb Morin is there to make the play. Not enough for the 1st down. And you can see Mason Nice getting hit, a rare sight.
So the Saskatchewan offense forced to turn the ball over with this punt. Alex Dump, looking into the sunshine, will step out of touch at his own 23. And Laval back on the ball. So the Rouge et Or, taking the wind in the 4th quarter, have really denied Saskatchewan much time with the wind here in the 3rd.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're seeing that it's paying off. You see Maital coming back onto the field. Still a slight of a limp there. Again, as you said, 5 receptions, 100 yards today. Curious to see what we'll see from Maital. He hasn't touched the end zone yet. But his last 2 games have been 2 different stories. In the Dunsmore Cup, he had 9 receptions, 116 yards, and 3 touchdowns. While in the Mitchell Bowl against Western, he had only 6 receptions, 77 yards, and no touchdowns. So we'll see which Kevin Mattel will get today as this game continues.
Mattel has not been the touchdown maker here today. He wasn't last week either against Western. Play action out of the backfield. David Dallaire. The Swiss Army knife lowers the boom, and he'll have a first down for Laval as Laval continues to grind it out. It's a gain of 14 on the play for Dallaire. You know the CFL will be just drooling over this guy.
CFL body, and he can do it all. He reminds me so much of Nikola Kalinick, who right now is the tight end with the Indianapolis Colts. 6'3", 215 pounds. David Dallaire is so talented. I think CFL teams are going to be all over him.
First down, Rouge. Magunda takes the handoff, cuts back against the grain. Look at him climb over bodies, and he's got a gain of 8.
And on that play, again, David Dallaire had a key block off the edge to set up a hole for Muganda to pick up some extra yards. Laval doing a great job of continuing to keep this run game alive and keep that offense flowing through Kalenge Muganda.
Long drives said it all last week against Western for this Laval football team, and they're doing it again here in the Vanier Cup. 2nd and 2. Muganda cuts upfield and goes low, and he'll have 2, maybe 3 yards, and they'll move the sticks again.
On that play, Lane Novak was the blitzer, and he was right there to meet Uganda at the line of scrimmage.
So another first down for Laval, and this will be the final play of the 3rd quarter, barring a penalty. Ball spotted at their own 46. Mattel takes the shuttle, the jet sweep. Mattel upfield and more. Breaking tackle, straight arming, loses the football out of bounds. What a big, robust play for Kevin Mattel as Tanner Reiber finally gets him out of touch and limping once again. Mattel being summoned to the sideline. No, he'll stay on the field. Through 3 quarters of football. Oh, so close. A field goal separates these teams. And Laval beginning to dominate in the second half of the 2022. Brought to you by Wilson, the official football of U Sports. Total yardage, it's still really hard to choose between these football teams. But you look at Laval's passing yardage beginning to mount here, and their time of possession has been huge here in the second half.
Yeah, and they've been able to really bring that passing game to life in the second half. Over the last 2 games, we've learned that the Laval Rouge have become a pretty good second half team, and they're proving that in this Vanier Cup.
1st and 10, Rouge from the Saskatchewan 37. Fake pitch, backside bubble screen to Kevin Mattel, and Catley Joseph all over that as he makes a swift tackle on the Heck Crichton winner.
Lane Novak, number 48, the linebacker for Saskatchewan, has done a great job.
That sun now beginning to get low in the southwest, the way this stadium is situated. So Saskatchewan looking into the sun and into the wind here in the 4th quarter. 2nd and 11, a loss of 1 on the play. Rolling to the wide side, Desjardins throwing downfield. Arsenault up for the ball. He's got it. Edouard Arsenault climbs the ladder.
And that might be the first big play that we've seen from Arnaud Desjardins all afternoon. Again, rolls out, sees Mattel, but sees Arsenault deeper, wide open. He beat Nixon Bull, he beat Marcotte Cribb, is able to come down with the ball and put this Laval offense in range to possibly reach the end zone.
Big target, having a breakout season, 428 yards and 3 touchdowns, and a huge catch for 23 yards. In the red zone again, Laval, deep ball for Mattel, incomplete, flag on the play. Catley Joseph there. Will it be pass interference, defensive or offensive. That one-on-one matchup between Mattel and Catley Joseph.
Catley Joseph, one of the top lockdown corners in the country, covering the Heck Crichton Award winner. What a premier matchup in this game.
Interference illegal.
It is defensive pass interference against Catley Joseph.
15-yard penalty.
The
We're running the
infraction
1-yard line.
in the end zone. The ball will be at the 1.
And there was a lot of contact on that play. Catley Joseph did look back, but there was too much contact.
First and goal. Laval at the 1. Astor Joseph was draped all over Mattel for the pass interference. It's Mattel in the Wildcat. He throws the ball to Dallaire, and another trick play. Oh my goodness. Mattel running the Wildcat. Fakes the run and finds the Swiss Army knife. Laval's man for all positions, David Dallaire for the touchdown.
Laval's 2 most talented players just linked up on a pivotal touchdown pass. Kevin Mattel with his first touchdown of the day, but it was a passing touchdown to David Dallaire, the fullback, the talented fullback that CFL teams will be all over. And what a big play for this Rouge offense. And you see Mattel, again, his first touchdown of the day, but not the touchdown we would have been expecting.
His first passing touchdown of the season. Unbelievable. And Dallaire at 6'4" with those great hands goes up to find the touchdown catch. The point after is good from Blanchard. Now it's a 10-point lead with 13:11 to go.
The Heck Crichton Award winner can do it all.
You know, Dallaire is one of those guys, he's the only guy that doesn't come off the field on punts. You always have to keep an eye on him. He's everywhere, right? Offensively, on special teams. And that's a first for me. I haven't seen him do that before. Have Mattel throw the ball.
And you see all the Laval fans that made the 12-hour trip to London, Ontario. One of the best fan bases in the country came to support their team as they challenge for a national championship. Great sight to see.
You can sort of feel the momentum turning here in favor of the Rouge et Or. Dominating that third quarter. Time of possession. And a big strike here in the fourth. Ted Kabongo just inside his own goal line. Kabongo at the 10. Cuts up the middle of the field, loses his footing, and comes down at about the 18-yard line. Many of the Husky players have been slipping on this field turf, this relatively brand new field turf field here in London.
And there you see Mason Hayes taking the field for what will be the final quarter of his career. What could be going through the mind of this fifth-year player as he begins the final quarter of his career looking to lead his team from behind to a Vanier Cup? One of the most storied quarterbacks in this program's history. Looking to close the chapter on his storied career.
A lot on his shoulders right now. Kabongo takes the shovel pass and steps out of bounds across the 20-yard line. It's a gain of 4, so 2nd and 6 for Saskatchewan.
And you see Mason Nice and that offense have kind of gone more to Kabongo in the second half with that rushing attack because he's been able to take a lot of nothing and turn it into something again. Jack of all trades. Kabongo with a huge pickup, 2nd and 6.
Can the Huskies answer back to stay in touch with the Rouge et Or here in the Vanier Cup? Riker Frank now checks in at running back. Nias against a 4-man rush. In trouble. Look out! Oh, what a hit! And a flag on the play.
And Mason Nias is livid.
Shihat gets earholed, or rather earholes Nias. And there's probably a spearing targeting penalty coming here.
The pocket broke down. Mason Nias escapes Shihat the first time, but Shihat comes from the blind side and gives him a huge lick, and Mason Nice was absolutely livid on that play.
Another look. Didn't see it coming. Right away, Nias grabs his head, gets the call. First down now. Across their own 35. Huskies. Nias across the middle. Red Fabry is open. He's tied up and wrestled to the ground. Alec Poirier in there along with Charles-Alexandre Jacques on the tackle. But there is another flag on the play.
Coming off an emotional penalty, Mason Nias in this offense just looking to bring it back to the bread and butter. Simple 5-yard hook from Red Fabry.
Nope. No flag. Sorry, there's no flag on that play. So 2nd and 5. Saskatchewan. They need a drive here. Nias against the blitz, gets the ball away, far side. Fabra, he's got it. Oh, what a catch, bobbled, and brings it down.
What a play. Mason Nias going for one of the few big plays he's had today. Throws up a prayer to Red Fabry, and you can see Nias stares him down the whole time. And it gets tipped, and he comes down with it. Threw up a prayer.
Christophe Beaulieu beaten in coverage there by Red Fabry. Beat one of the best in the Laval secondary. Here's Nias again with time. He outlets it to Jordan Rusnak, the rookie from Yorkton, Saskatchewan, for a short gain on the play. It's 8 yards.
Jordan Rusnak has not had much of a premier, spotlight in this offense all season, but great to see him, coming up big in the final game of the season. That's his 2nd reception of the game.
Second and 2 with Frank in the backfield. Play action, rolling right. Nias sets up in the pocket. He's in trouble. Gets it away. Wide open. Morin's got it. Breaks the tackle. Down to the 5-yard line. Big play by Caleb Morin. In a scrambling effort by Nias. And an injured Rouge player.
Mason Nias, once again, the pocket begins to break down. He gets mobile, and he finds Morin across the middle. Morin is able to break a tackle, gain some extra yards before Lavalier brings him down. But a huge play, key plays to keep this team alive as they're down 10 in the 4th quarter with only 9 minutes remaining.
Vincent Delille, number 20, was the man who couldn't make the tackle broken by Morin. Yanni Chihat, the 4th-year defensive end, is the injured Rouge player. He was on the roster in 2018 when Laval last won the Vanier Cup.
You can see his knee gets clipped by Bouchard on that play.
So Chihat comes out of the football game. And it's 1st and goal, Saskatchewan, from the Laval 6-yard line. How big is that targeting penalty looming now? 1st and goal, Saskatchewan. Play action, rolling to the short side. Nias to the end zone. It's intercepted. Felix Petit on the deflection has it for the Rouge to snuff out the scoring attempt by Saskatchewan.
What a play by Felix Petit with the Saskatchewan Huskies threatening to score.
Caleb Morin was the intended receiver, Deshaun.
And another tipped pass, but this time it did not go Saskatchewan's way. Felix Petit was right there to catch that ball and turn the ball over and take Saskatchewan's offense off the field. Let's look at this replay. You see Nias rolling out, sees Morin. Again, another tip pass, but Petit is right behind him. If Morin came down with that, it would have been 6. But unfortunately, could not get both hands on it. Petit grabs it, and a key interception.
Tension on his elbow. He was the intended receiver here. Went up as high as he could for this high ball. Tipped it right into the arms of Felix Petit with his 1st interception of the season and the 1st turnover of this football game in what had to feel like a must score drive for Saskatchewan.
Yeah, down 10 with 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. You need to score on that drive.
Here's Maganda sticking his head into Nick Wiebe. And Lane Novak there to assist. Gain of 5 on that first down carry for Muganda, who is a time clock eater when he grinds the ball on the ground for this Laval offense.
And given the success of the run game, and you just alluded to it, the clock, it becomes a clock game. 9 minutes left, you're up by 10, you have a run game that's successful and a running back that can give you 5 on every single run. Laval is going to try to take control of this game with the clock.
Play action, Desjardins to the wide side. Kevin Mattel will turn upfield and step out of bounds with a first down. A 9-yard pass to Kevin Mattel, the Heck Crichton winner. Well over 100 yards receiving in this football game.
And we've learned a lot about Kevin Mattel today. There you look at Petit right there with the interception. We've learned a lot about Mattel today. He's playing hurt. Yet he has over 100 yards receiving now and a passing touchdown. That is the Heck Crichton Award winner. Heck Crichton Award winner for a reason.
Desjardins has been unflappable under pressure here at quarterback for Laval. Maganda takes the handoff, cuts back, nowhere to go, and Delahaye grabs him for a gain of maybe 1 on the play.
Delahaye with that huge tackle, and with the Saskatchewan defense knowing that Laval's going to look to take control of this clock and burn out some time, expect that 3-4 front to be blitzing regularly, and hopefully that secondary can do their job in man coverage and stop that Laval passing attack from moving the ball forward.
Huge down here for the Saskatchewan defense. 2nd and 9. They need to get the ball back after turning it over at the goal line. Desjardins gets it away, but it's batted down, incomplete, intended for Kevin Mattel. So Scott Flory's Huskies will get the ball back. 7:43 to go here in the fourth quarter as they stop this Laval offensive juggernaut in its tracks.
Defense did what they needed to do. Force the offense off the field, save time on the clock, give your offense a second opportunity to live to see another day. And there you have a look at Mason Nice, again, 5th-year quarterback, playing the final quarter of his career in the national championship. What is going through his mind right now as he looks to lead this team to a national championship?
Blanchard from his 24. High spiraling punt. Brett Favre takes it at his 24. Breaks away from Dallaire. Favre, the fastest receiver on the Huskies. What a great return. Biggest punt return of the football game.
Huge return from Brett Favre, and it seems like he almost turned into Ted Kavango on that return. You see right here, he rolls to his right, stiff arm on Lavalier, and he's up the sideline. So many huge plays from Brett Favre in this game.
Brett Favre delivers just when the Huskies needed them. Santa Claus team is in full array here in London on a gorgeous afternoon for football. 10 degrees at kickoff in late November. Weather cooperating for these two football teams in a 27-17 Laval lead. 7:08 to go, and Nias trying to mount a comeback after that last drive of the field ended in turnover in the end zone. Play action now. Nias throwing a deep ball down the middle. It's caught, bobbled and caught. Brett Favre in another huge play.
Another tipped pass for a big gain. Brett Favre, just after he made a game-changing return, connects with Mason Nias downfield. And again, another tipped pass that falls into the hands of a Saskatchewan receiver.
Favre 7 for 76 and a touchdown, and back-to-back monster plays. 26 yards the game. Play action. It's a screen pass to Caleb Moore, breaking tackles. Yak Yards still on his feet. Look at him go to the 5-yard line.
Caleb Moore, big-time screen pass, able to break through tackles and bring them to where they were when they threw the interception on that last drive. So here we go. Same situation. Saskatchewan is threatening to reach the end zone. You see right there, the off the play action. Mason Nye is screen to Morin, breaks the tackle, upfield, picks up a couple yards. Let's see what the Huskies do on this next play.
Nias and the Huskies stay in the air. Morin with some big yardage, 72 yards. Most of them breaking tackles, yards after the catch. Hand off to Riker Frank, and Frank will get to the 3-yard line. It'll be 2nd and goal. Huskies right back to the Laval goal line after that disastrous turnover on their last series.
Yeah, last time they were here, they know what happened, so they're going to calm down, hand it off to Riker Frank, feel out this defense, and put a little bit more thought into the 2nd down.
There's an injured Laval player on the field as Scott Flory, who doubles as the offensive coordinator for the Huskies, goes over his ready list. What a dramatic response by the Huskies. After turning that ball over, they've come right back to the goal line. Antoine Felix Audet-Michaud is the injured Rouge, business administration student. Glenn Constantine was telling me there are 20 business students on this team. There are 12 engineers, 4 guys in law, and 1 in medicine. I mean, you know, that's a lot of, that's a huge academic load to play football with, right? I mean, to combine both of those, the amount of time and organization you need.
And then given the fact that Laval is annually putting together one of the best teams in the nation, that's just even more impressive.
Is it ever? Smart men playing a physical game. 2nd and goal, Saskatchewan. Nias wants to throw across the middle. It's complete to Weeb. Touchdown, Saskatchewan. Daniel Weeb hauls it in.
And as Daniel Weeb takes a bow, again, it's almost so reminiscent of last week when Saskatchewan needed a touchdown desperately. They turned to Daniel Weeb, and he was able to produce. Here in the 4th quarter, with 5 minutes remaining, Mason Nice drops back, goes to his reads. He has Vet Robert wide open, but passes him up for Daniel Weeb, who is open and finds the end zone, beats LaRue for the touchdown. What a response from this battle-tested Saskatchewan Huskies team.
Great touch on the ball from Nias across the middle, on the mark. The point after from Soli is good, and now just a field goal separates these football teams.
The Saskatchewan Huskies have responded.
The Huskies down by a field goal with 5 minutes to go.
And dry skin. Eucerin Complete Repair has a unique combination of urea and ceramides that retain moisture to strengthen the skin's natural barrier for long-lasting dry skin relief. Eucerin, recommended by dermatologists.
Life is what you make of it. Make it beautiful. La vie est belle. The iconic eau de parfum, Lancôme.
Give it to me. How? Brace. Oh,
I lied to the police.
shut it, you. Enough. Get your hands off me.
What can I do? You don't want to wind me up because I'm in a vile mood.
Oh, all right, missus, whatever you say. Woo!
So we need to end the call now, please.
I better go.
Let the adventure begin.
Welcome back to the Canada Life Vanier Cup on CBC, and the Saskatchewan Huskies trying to accomplish the rare feat of losing a Vanier Cup and then coming back to win the very next year. Hasn't been done very often, just 4 times. Twice by Laval, once by Alberta in the 70s, and the other time, these very Huskies when they lost in 1989 to Western, sound familiar, and then came back the next year to beat St. Mary's in the Battle of the Huskies. And this one is coming down to the wire. They want to join that elite list.
Favre, Weeb, Morin, they've all risen to the occasion. For Scott Flory, this storied football program, which has done a lot of losing at the Vanier Cup. They've lost their last 5 appearances, including last year's 27-21 defeat at the hands of the Western Mustangs. Looking for their first win since 1998. And they're still trailing. Can they come from behind? with 4:58 to play. David Solé teeing it up at his own 45. Into the wind, it's short to Duff at his 18-yard line, but perfectly placed between the numbers and the sideline as he steps out of bounds.
And now I'm curious to see what Saskatchewan brings to the field. On the last drive, they were able to shut down that Laval offense. They were able to do their job to get their offense back on the field. Can Saskatchewan's defense come up with another key series on this drive?
Last week they kept the ball away from the Mustangs and didn't give it back until there was 1:06 left on the clock. They've got to do it again. Eat up the clock, keep the ball away from Saskatchewan. The Huskies are amped after that great scoring drive. Play action now. Desjardins throwing a deep ball down the field for Desiro Leclerc. He's got it! Down to the 30. Oh, what a catch! Desjardins airs it out in a dagger to the Saskatchewan defense.
That was a huge play by Arnaud Desjardins, and you can see they were targeting Marquette Cribb, and Leclerc goes up. Cribb was all over him, but he comes down with the ball. What a huge play by Leclerc. Could have been a dagger ball. Let's see how this Saskatchewan defense responds. Again, they are a battle-tested team. Let's see how they respond in this next play.
A 50-yard gain. Desjardins to Desiro Leclerc, the man they go to when they need a first down, when they need something big to change the tempo. It'll be first down, Laval at the Huskies 31. Back and forth, swings of momentum and emotion in this football game. And now it's Laval on the crest. Muganda is in the backfield for the Rouge et Or. He'll take the handoff up the middle, pile driving his way. He'll have a gain of 5. Once again, Nick Wiebe is in the mix, along with George Idoko.
And again, after that big play, go back to the run. Play the clock game. See how much time you can burn off. Nick Wiebe and this entire Saskatchewan front seven can do whatever they want, but if they cannot stop Kalenge Mudanga from running the ball, picking up yards after yards, they're in trouble with 3 minutes and 40 seconds left in this football game.
There's the Vanier Cup making its way into the stadium. The Mounties in the red surge. Here's Desjardins casually across the middle, and Arsenault has it across the 10. With such calm and cool and poise, Desjardins is knifing this Saskatchewan secondary.
Another momentum-blowing play for the Saskatchewan defense. Desjardins forces it in there, and again, they're picking on Marquette Cribb. They're picking on him, right? That's the second big play that we've seen on this drive against that corner. So another momentum-blowing play for the Saskatchewan defense.
The Vanier Cup takes its position at the podium. First down and goal to go inside the 10-yard line. It's Muganda in the Wildcat at quarterback. Muganda, oh, he's stacked and rolled off for a gain of 1.
They went back to the Wildcat formation with Muganda, the play that brought them their first touchdown. Muganda was able to follow his lead blocker in David Dallaire, but not much gain on that play.
We're at the 3-minute warning. We'll take a break. 27-24 Laval.
The 2022 Canada Life Vanier Cup on CBC is brought to you in part by Nike Team, Just Do It, Baron Rings, official championship rings of U Sports, Varaburn Medical Supply, proud to meet U Sports supply needs, Sport Canada, funding partner of U Sports, Fox 40, celebrating a decade of the Fox 40 U Sports Coach of the Year Awards, and by Wilson, the official football of U Sports.
As a chef, I like composting because it gives back to the earth. Hey Aaron, how do dairy farmers help protect the planet?
On my farm, I compost manure. This helps reduce the carbon footprint of milk production. Plus, manure makes for richer soil, which can help grow crops.
So it's like the circle of life.
Yeah, we're working towards a more sustainable future. I'm in. Are you?
I'm in.
That's Dairy Farming Forward. Dairy Farmers of Canada. Net zero by 2050.
2 minutes and 41 seconds left to play in the fourth quarter. and Laval threatening to put Saskatchewan in a difficult position. 3-point football game at Desjardins with his poise and calm has filled the air here in the second half with some big bombs. And Constantine and his team played 2 different quarters. Third quarter, they ground the ball out, used up the clock, didn't give Saskatchewan the win. Fourth quarter, they've been striking through the air. Second and goal from the 8-yard line. Desjardins looking for Arsenault in the end zone. Touchdown, Laval! But there's a flag on the play. Flag on the play.
Look at Arnaud Desjardins just stand in the pocket, calm, cool, collective, and just sling that ball through Arsenault. What a beautiful pass.
Only I
Laval,
could.
number 11. Pass interference.
It's a pick.
Canada's 15-yard penalty. Repeat. Deuxième essai. Repeat, second down.
Dansereau Leclerc on a pick. Pass interference offensively. Oh boy. It's ticky-tack.
Yeah. And you've got to think the pressure is on this Saskatchewan defense now. They can't allow any more of those broken coverages. With 2 minutes, 27 seconds left, the pressure is on this defense.
Saskatchewan cannot give up a touchdown here. Second and goal. Arsenault will catch the ball at the 10, and he'll be brought down at the 7-yard line.
That is the third time on this drive they've targeted Marcotte Crib. This time Marcotte Crib was in zone coverage. He was 10 yards off the receiver, and Arnaud Desjardins stared him down the whole time and delivered just a smooth, calm, collective ball.
So that interference takes a touchdown off the board, away from Arsenault, and the field goal unit comes on, which would keep this a 1-score football game.
And Saskatchewan still has life. They still have life.
It's a 15-yard attempt for Vincent Blanchard. David Dallaire to hold. Blanchard has been perfect here this afternoon. There's a flag on the play, and it looked like the play clock was down to 0. This has really opened the door, though, for the Huskies.
And I'm sure Mason Nice is probably excited that he just gets one more opportunity to stay in this football game. If Laval kicks a field goal, they go up by 6. And listen, they could either tie this game. Saskatchewan has the opportunity to possibly tie this game, maybe win this game with a touchdown and an extra point. So I'm just curious to see what Saskatchewan's offense is going to bring to the table, knowing that their offense right now has momentum on their side. And I look there at Scott Flory looking to become a Vanier Cup coach.
Time count violation. Laval, that's a 10-yard penalty. We are redoing third down, troisième essai.
So this will now be a 25-yard attempt for Soli on third down and goal. Just under 2 minutes to play. Blanchard puts it up, and it's good. He's 5 for 5 this afternoon. And the Rouge et Or extend their lead to 6 points. So it's a 1-score game as Saskatchewan will get the ball back with just under 2 minutes to play. And I think back to Mason Nias and his cool from a year ago in the UTEC Bowl in freezing Montreal, where he led an 83-yard, 10-play drive in the final 2 minutes to come from behind and beat the Carabins 14-10 to get into the Vanier Cup. And he said this in the huddle to his teammates: guys, this last drive is something we'll tell our kids about. That's the kind of confidence and leadership that Scott Flory loves about Mason Nias. Can he do it again in the biggest game of his career, his final game? Bongo back to return this kickoff for Saskatchewan, and Caden Miller, the rookie running back, with him as well. It is Kabongo from his goal line. Ted Kabongo. It's a reverse to Vavra. Vavra breaking some tackles. Then he's hammered at the 18-yard line. So some trickery from Saskatchewan, but they'll have a long field for Mason Nias. 1:49 to go. Can he do it again here in the Vanier Cup in the final 2 minutes and lead his team to victory?
A 5-year career comes down to 1 minute and 49 seconds with a national championship on the line.
First down at their own 18-yard line. 4 receivers to the boundary. Riker Frank in the backfield with Mason Nias. Nias throwing in trouble. It's a screen to Riker Frank. He's got a convoy. Frank will have a first down as he crosses the 30. And a gain of 12 on the play.
And you know Laval's front seven have been jawing at the opportunity to hit Mason Nias all day. So with that screenplay, you know they were easily baited. Riker Frank gets wide open, and that convoy just creates a hole for Riker Frank to do his thing and pick up the first down. Solid way to start off this drive.
Hugo Leroux, the boundary cornerback, is injured for Laval. This would be a huge loss. They've already lost their field cornerback, Anton Hay, who didn't dress today. And they've gone through 2 backups at that position. Oh. You can see right there that Leroux's neck right into the knee of Riker Frank. So their boundary corner has to come out of the game. This is a thin secondary right now for Laval. And it's Arnaud Laporte back up to a backup at the field corner position, forced into the boundary. First down, Saskatchewan at their own 30-yard line. Riker Frank caught in the backfield for a loss. Jean-William Rouleau at 327 pounds stuffs the Husky running back.
Huge play for the Laval defensive line. Jean-William Rouleau sheds the block, and he gets right to Riker Frank immediately to shut down that play and force a second down.
2nd and 12, so a loss of 2. Huge play for Nias. Blitz coming. Nias with time. It's complete to Weeb. It's a gain of 7. So he won't have the first down. 5 yards shy in 3-down territory in the final minute of the Vanier Cup.
Saskatchewan's offensive line did an amazing job of protecting Nias, giving him time to go through his reads, but Laval's secondary shut down all options. Nias could only give it to his checkdown to Daniel Weeb, and now it's 3rd and 6 with the season on the line.
This is the game right here.
Could this be the final play of Mason Nias' career?
Huskies 3rd and 6, empty backfield. 3-man rush, they drop 9. Frank has it. He's driven back. I don't think he's got it.
It's going to be close.
He was very close. Turned back. He turned back instead of going forward.
It's going to be very close. Laval thinks they stopped him. Saskatchewan thinks they have it.
Look, he's across the 40 there and steps back.
He did turn back.
Oh, boy. Let's look at the spot.
Ball game on the line. Here we go.
They give him a good spot. before he turned back. But it's short. Oh boy. The comeback drive dies on a third down gamble. 48 seconds to go as Laval takes over on a turnover of downs. Uganda sidesteps his way past John Stoll for a gain of 3. Saskatchewan uses a timeout. 2nd and 7 for the Rouge et Or. 45 seconds on the clock.
45 seconds remaining. Saskatchewan uses their first timeout. What is going through the mind of this Saskatchewan Huskies team? 45 seconds left, back against the wall. Laval up by a touchdown in the final minute of the Vanier Cup. What an amazing season they had. Battle-tested 7-1 record. Can they somehow find a way to stay alive in this game? 45 seconds is a lot of time in Canadian football. It's not over yet.
The Huskies need a big defensive play right here. Get the ball back. Constantine pacing on the sideline. On the brink of adding another decoration to his incredible coaching career. Flory and the Huskies desperate. So close. 2nd and 7. Magunda in the backfield. It's a pitch to Dansereau Leclerc on the jet sweep. They wrap him up. And as he gets back to the line of scrimmage. So with 37 seconds to go, Laval will have to punt. And Saskatchewan calls another timeout.
The defense did their job, and it seems like the Saskatchewan Huskies are going to get one final crack at this. One final chance to stay alive in this football game.
You know what? They're in field goal range here if they want to put a nail in the Saskatchewan coffin. Do they risk a field goal, a block,
well, Blanchard
turn, or do they punt it and put it deep?
Blanchard hit one from 49 yards earlier.
Yeah. But the risk. I'm asking about the risk here. They got the wind right now. You're right, Blanchard hit a 49-yarder. What do you call? Punt or field goal to seal the game?
Glenn Constantine might trust his defense. They've done a great job in this second half stopping Mason Ice and that Saskatchewan offense. If it isn't for a couple bobbled passes, this might be a different storyline. But that defense has done a fantastic job of helping slow down that Saskatchewan offense in this second half. I wouldn't be surprised if Glenn Constantine chooses to trust his defense.
So Glenn Constantine will be conservative and punt the football away with 37 seconds to go. Blanchard angles it out of bounds for no return. They'll mark it at the 20-yard line is where the ball sails out of bounds, and that's where the Huskies will take over with 34 seconds to go. That was just a 16-yard net on that punt. So, no opportunity knocking, although it is a faint hope here for Saskatchewan. Soli has the longest of 44 this year, so they've got to get to the 35-yard line anyway against the wind. Nias gets it across the middle to Riker Frank. Frank heading out of bounds, and he'll stop the clock with 27 seconds. They burned their timeout, so they've got to use the sideline.
And the blitz came on that play. Mason Ice dumped it out to Riker Frank, and you saw him desperately run towards the sideline to stop the clock. Like you said, no more timeouts.
2nd and 3 after that 7-yard pickup. Rouge et Or in a prevent defense. Nias in trouble. He's sacked. Jean-William Rouleau drops the Saskatchewan quarterback for a loss.
The storyline of this second half has been how that Rouge or front seven has brought the pressure and collapsed that pocket. And Jean-William Rouleau, the All-Canadian, is able to bring down Mason Nias.
Tell me if you pulled off.
Clock is running with less than 20 seconds. 3rd and 11. Last hope here. Nias airs it out for Perry, and it's incomplete and out of bounds. With 9 seconds to go, and the celebration begins on the Laval sideline.
This defense showed out in the final 5 minutes of this game. This Laval defense showed out in the final 5 minutes of this game. That front seven was able to bring the pressure, collapse the pocket, force Mason Nias to throw the ball maybe before his comfort time. And that secondary did an amazing job of shutting down these receivers. You saw on that play, it was Lavalier, the RSCQ all-star, was able to shut down his assignment and give the Rouge et Or offense this ball back with 9 seconds remaining, and they're only 9 seconds away from a Vanier Cup.
The Rouge et Or go into victory formation. In the waning seconds of this 2022 Vanier Cup. Desjardins will take a knee and needs to do that just one more time. Glenn Constantine will win the 10th Vanier Cup of his head coaching career and the 11th in this school's history. The clock ticks down to 0. The knee taken by Desjardins, and the Laval Rouge et Or are back on top of Canadian college football. Their 11th Vanier Cup. A dominant team returns to the top of the world.
Arnaud Desjardins, in just his first year as a starter at quarterback, leads this team to a Vanier Cup. What a story for this young quarterback.
This game was tied at 17 at the half. In the second half, the Rouge et Or, the coaches meeting for the first time, Constantine and Flory exchanging a handshake in the postgame. Kevin Mittal was not the touchdown factor in this game, but he threw for one. Over 100 yards in receiving, the Heck Creighton Trophy winner. Again, a huge factor on this offense. But 17-17, and then they ground the clock down in the third quarter, went to the air in the fourth, and took control. Had a touchdown squandered by that interference, gave Saskatchewan a chance to come back in a one-score game, and the defense stood tall. What a year for Kevin Mittal, coming back to U Sports from the NCAA in Syracuse, winning the Heck Creighton Trophy and the Vanier Cup in his first return. Playing injured today, a factor through the air, and at Wildcat quarterback nonetheless.
We will win, said Kevin Mittal in his Heck Creighton acceptance speech. He promised a win to the fans back in Quebec City, and the Rouge et Or delivered.
The Nike player of the game, Laval quarterback Arnaud Desjardins, and he's standing by with Rob Pizzo.
Well, thank you very much. You can now call yourself a Vanier Cup champion. How does it feel?
Unbelievable. I mean, it's what we've been working so hard for, and just to see it happen today, I got no words, to be honest.
For a team that's so known for their offense, your arms, so many yards, so many points, it really was the defense that stepped up in the second half, wasn't it?
Big time. They played a huge second half. They struggled a little bit in the first half, and they came back so strong, and I knew it was going to happen. They're just so talented and resilient.
Talk a little bit about who you'd like to thank in this big moment. Obviously, a lot of people helped you get here, and you're finally a Vanier Cup champion. Who would you like to thank?
Well, all of my teammates, all my coaches, my parents have doing so much for me each and every day. The list goes on. My past coaches, it's just unbelievable feeling. I got no words.
Congratulations. Exciting game. One that will go down in the books. Go enjoy it.
Thank you so much.
Mark, back to you.
Rob, his talent and his poise belies his age and experience. A second-year starter for Laval, Arnaud Desjardins, with 381 yards passing here today, leads Laval to its 11th Vanier Cup title. Your heart has to break for Mason Nias as he plays his final game without a Vanier Cup, and Saskatchewan loses for the second year in a row in their 6th straight appearance in the Vanier Cup. Andy?
Well, the handshakes, the celebrations, they continue in London, Ontario. And yes, Laval, they are crowned champions once again, with the last time coming in 2018. For Saskatchewan, it's 24 years and counting. Their last 1998. Andy Petrillo, Donovan Bennett, Justin Dunk. A little bit of trivia for you. So Glenn Constantine, all he does is win. So that's his 11th title with Laval, his 10th as a head coach. Do you know the first ever title, 1999? Little bit of trivia for you. Jacques Chamtelain, he was the head coach at the time. Afterwards, it ended up being Glenn Constantine. So, you know, if you want to play a little Vanier Cup trivia. But let's talk about Kevin Mattal. If you need a hero in Laval, call Kevin Mattal. You knew I had to get that line out, Justin. You knew I had to get that line out. And he was playing hurt in that second half.
That was almost as great as Mattal was today. He was my Vanier Cup MVP. 8 catches, 142 yards, and threw for a touchdown as well. This guy was literally doing it all and came as advertised as the Heck Crichton winner in this game. He energized the offense in the first half, and then in the second half, this matchup between Charlie Ringland and Mattal got physical. First, Ringland rubs his head into the ground, knocks his helmet off. Then Ringland tackles Mattal and hangs onto that ankle, and we thought maybe Mattal would be out of the game, but he toughs it out despite the limp, comes back into the game, and then was making plays from there on out. The little flip pass out the strong side, and he shows you his speed burst, and this guy had a ball game for Laval, catching it, but he was also doing it in the Wildcat as well. A little jump pass, the swaggy touchdown to help seal this one for the Laval Rouge. What a performance from Mattal.
Yeah, 8 catches for him, as you said, threw for a touchdown pass and doing it all hurt in that second half. And this was tied 17-17 heading into the second half. What adjustments did Laval make to their offense?
Well, the key word is adjustments, because these big games, as you know, Justin, are not just about big players, coaches making brave decisions. And we saw the Laval coaching staff put their players in a position to succeed. Against the 7-man front, bringing more people into the box to stop the run, well, guess what? We're going to go Wildcat with McGinn, and so we have more people at the point of attack when we're just giving the ball to our running back, and we're dancing, we're celebrating, we're feeling good. You're going to double team Mattal. Guess what? We're going to take that extra attention, make him the thrower. The MVP, to your point, Justin, didn't throw a TD pass. This man did, the best receiver on the field. They did a great job of taking their elite athletes and putting them in positions to win.
All right, but we have to talk Huskies here, because this is heartbreak for them. Back-to-back, they're in the Vanier Cup. Back-to-back, they lose. And they were hoping for that Calgary Dino storyline. So the last time they had won was 95. They go and win in 2019, and it's all sunshine and rainbows. That was exactly 24 years as well for them, but that number doesn't work in their favor. And Justin, there seemed to have been some consensus that for Mason Nias, he was a Heck Crichton favorite. Final year. How do you think they're feeling right now?
They're going to feel down for sure. They wanted to win this one for Mason Nias. There was a reminder of that Vanier Cup defeat against Western. It was actually the passcode to get into the clubhouse in Saskatchewan. Now, it got out, so they had to change it, but that's how much this was front and center for them to get back to the Vanier Cup and try to win, but the result doesn't go their way today.
It doesn't, and let's remember, Saskatchewan scored 3 TDs in this game. Laval only scored 2, but despite the fact that Saskatchewan managed the game well and was in control, they couldn't finish it. And I have to give a shout out, because only one team wins. But what these kids have gone through in terms of going from Saskatoon to Antigonish, back to Saskatoon, to Toronto, then getting on a bus to London. I saw in the fourth quarter a tired football team, but a team that never gave up.
Yeah, it's definitely tough for them. And, you know, Scott Flory as well at that halftime when he was speaking to Rob Pizzo, he was just so focused on his team. I don't care what they do. This is really about us and what we have to do. And once again, Mason Nye is standing tall. That was the case as well last year. It just comes out on the losing end. As we take a look now at the stats brought to you by Wilson, the official football of U Sports. So what are these numbers telling you, again, when you're talking about two of the top offenses, two of the top quarterbacks?
What a wonderful display of offense. Canadian University football at its finest. You look at the total yards there, over 500 for Laval, nearly 500 for Saskatchewan. Both quarterbacks go over 300. And I think it was you who predicted a high-scoring game. You were right.
Yeah, it was so difficult with the top two quarterbacks in the regular season, but I'm going to take that win if I can get it.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was the timely penalties that we saw for Sask and also the timely interception. The margins are so small in championship football, and that's why Laval's on top.
Let's take a look now at the Nike players of the game. And you saw Arnaud Desjardins. So speaking of a quarterback, he's on the offensive side. Then you have Felix Petit, who's on the defensive side. He had 5 tackles and an interception. So as we say bye to Mason Nye, as we know that this is his final year, what does the future hold for Desjardins?
Scary hours, quite frankly, because not just him, a bunch of that receiving group is coming back. Obviously, that coaching staff is coming back. And so he's someone who's so comfortable, unflappable, but still learning the sport at a high level. So, yeah, a lot of defensive coordinators losing sleep.
And still developing physically. He put on 10 pounds of muscle from his first year to his second year. And I referenced him being the Canadian University football version of Tom Brady. Well, he's got 1 ring. He's got a chance to go for multiple like Brady has.
Yeah, well, we're just waiting for the trophy presentation right now. The RCMP officers have brought it onto the field. They will be presented. I can already see the players jumping up and down in anticipation. This is where they all get to go into a pen, right? So they're all there together. Some family and friends get to join them as well. So they're pretty excited about this. They can't wait. It has to be a special moment. Who's made their way up to the stage? This is where you always find out who the jokesters of the team are, don't you?
Yes, and this is where, as a host, you don't lose the microphone, hopefully, because that's a bad scene. But these are the scenes that you love to see. This is what you lift the weights for, you run hills for, parents drive you hours for practice for. I love these scenes. There's some other scenes in the locker room that aren't like this, tears of a different measure, but this is my favorite part of the year, these scenes right here.
Yeah, Glenn Constantine, even though he's used to this always has to feel special. I mean, to put another trophy up on the mantle, that can never get old, especially if you are a winner at heart.
It doesn't get old in Laval. And in Quebec City, the media's hard on him. If they don't have a championship for a couple of years, he starts hearing about it. So there's major pressure there for him to win Vanier Cups, and he does it again.
They had a little bit of a drought, but they're back. The resurgence, as you mentioned off the top of the broadcast, and they've lifted the level of franchises in this sport. He has more championships than some conferences have. He is a next level coach.
Well, it's kind of a double-edged sword, right? When you are successful, everyone's happy, but then when you are successful, everyone expects it every single year. So I can understand, you know, the media would be tough on him because this is what they expect. And I remember in 2019 as well, when they were hosting the Vanier Cup, when they were not in the final, it was absolutely crushing for them not to be there. But what do you know? They already had 10 Vanier Cups, which was a record. Now they have 11. Let's get to the trophy presentation with Signa Butler of CBC Sports and Justine Saint-Martin of TVA.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Signa Butler with CBC Sports, and I'm here with my colleague from TVA Sports, Justine Saint-Martin, and we're your MCs for the post-game for the 2022 Canada Life Vanier Cup.
Bonne fin d'après-midi tout le monde. Mon nom est Justine Saint-Martin. Je suis en compagnie de Signa Butler de CBC Sports. On est avec vous pour l'après-match, les célébrations de cette 57e Coupe Vanier. Je vais prendre un instant pour féliciter les deux équipes pour l'excellent spectacle qu'on a eu droit aujourd'hui et toutes les équipes à travers le pays pour l'excellente saison.
What an outstanding game. What an outstanding week of football. Thank you to the teams on display today, of course, the Saskatchewan Huskies and the champions, the Laval Rouge et Or. We'd like to please welcome from the Laval Rouge et Or, the Director of Sports Activities, Julie Dion, to present the Ted Morris Award.
On accueille maintenant la directrice des activités sportives de l'Université Laval, Julie Dionne, pour présenter le prix Ted Morris remis aux joueurs par excellence Nike du match de cette Coupe Vanier Canada-Vie. Il aura été le joueur par excellence jusqu'à la toute fin, Kevin Mittal. Kevin, comme tu dirais, bienvenue à Québec.
Bienvenue à London maintenant.
Joueur par excellence du RSEQ, saison record pour toi. Joueur par excellence à travers le pays, mais maintenant champion de la Coupe Vanier. Comment ça sonne à tes oreilles?
Sounds great. On l'avait dit, on s'en vient passer la gratte à London. Je pense là, on a